Okay, so check this out. Something I did today. I was inspired by another app I saw on Claude. You know how they're doing the what is it called? Not agents.
I know what
What's
you're
it?
talking about. I
Yeah,
can't remember what the name
artifacts.
is. Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Artifacts, and they had something like your life. Visualize your weeks. Visualize. I'm like, that's kind of neat. But I'm like, wouldn't it be cool is if you entered your birthday and it gave you like basically a dashboard of here. Let me see if I can like zoom in a bit. There you go. A dashboard of all the things like based on your birthday, and I just threw in a random date here. Like how many heartbeats you've had, how many breaths taken, red blood cells made, and like these are averages, right?
Right,
Um,
right. Yeah, yeah.
skeleton replacements, like it's nerve impulse kilometers, liters of saliva, hair growth. I mean, this is just it was too much fun. Um,
That sounds like something that have you ever watched the channel Vsauce or heard about it?
Oh, yeah, of course I know of Vsauce. Yeah,
Sounds like something that he would do.
but now it's an app. So you enter in your
Right?
birthday, and this is since you were born, 600. Of course, this is the number, right? How many Wikipedia articles, yeah, on average, right, since you were born. Although I think that these numbers may not exactly be, right. It's just averages. How
Sure.
many hours of music, based on an average hour of music, percentage of the sun's age, how many stars born in the Milky Way. I mean, it's just like, so it's like from like personal all the way to global, and then look at the FIFA, 9 FIFA World Cups. It's just so yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It looks good. Yeah.
This is what I created. I want to like flesh it out a bit more. I've got like 75 or 76 currently, but I want to see if I can push it to like 100. Like different, like your life's dashboard. I don't know. What would you call? Wouldn't
Sure.
this be like your dashboard, like your life, right? How many you've had, like how many you've gone through, or what you've gone through in the time that you've been alive. Um, yeah, and then I've got, like I said, I've got to fix something where the container is not centered, and it's not perfectly padded, and it's not centered. Some things to work through, but anyway, welcome everybody to another live stream of vibe coding. And I don't mind doing this stuff alone. I've done that for years, but so many people out there are vibe coding, and I've been back channeling with Pixel here, going by your handle. We've been sharing Gemini links back and forth. Gemini seems to be like our designated, or at least the one that I've used to do a lot of this stuff. And I said, hey, I'm open to like bringing you on because I would love to see a day where we have multiple people vibe coding at the same time. Although now I am getting the echo.
Are you? Okay,
Um,
I can
yeah,
fix that.
yeah. But I said, hey, I'm going to be doing it. Do you want to jump in? And he's like, yeah, for sure. And he was showing me a couple of things that he was working on. So one of the things I'm going to work on tonight is the life dashboard. And then another one that I started, I'm not sure exactly where it's going, and it's definitely not been perfect, but like a studio, a wallpaper studio. So you can basically go in, choose a different pattern, recolorize that pattern. But you can see like sometimes it glitches out. Like it's not the perfect way it needs to be, but for the most part, like, oh, you need to create something like a unique wall, like geometric wallpaper stuff. That one's kind of neat. You can change the variation, the complexity, recolorize, use different colors at random, and then of course, ultimately download a PNG image to use as a wallpaper. But yeah, the idea behind it was just like, yeah, see this. Some of the stuff works, and some of it really doesn't. So I've got to work through a few of the bugs. Not that I'm going to go through each one of these because I think I've got, I don't know how many, like almost 50 of them, right? And there's a couple of them that I really like. The Dijon attractor. If I recolorize, sometimes it's a little better. Or choose variations, because you can see sometimes they don't even show up. There, that one showed up. But with the right colors, it looks, dramatically better. Yeah, sometimes, there we go. I'm trying to get it so that every time it refreshes, it's a good it's a good wallpaper image, because sometimes, at least right now, it's not. So I'm not sure. I'm still not sure where this one is going yet, but I'm hoping to flesh it out. Still getting the echo, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, this is always a tricky thing to do, and usually StreamYard's really good with audio echo cancellation and background noise and adjustment of volume in the settings for StreamYard. Usually it mitigates pretty well. So I'm going to try to continue to flesh this out, but I'm not sure if it's going to. I'm really not sure if it's going to work, because there's just too many failures. Like when I go through and I'm like, yeah, it's just not. That's not as interesting. I mean, that was kind of neat. But sometimes it's got a faux like a placeholder. Sometimes recolorize clearly doesn't work. So I'm going to try to send this through another tool. See, this one Sunburst works very well, like in terms of like what I want it to be, the complex, dialing complexity, choosing different versions of the same complexity. I think waveform was interesting too. This is more geometrical, but still fun. So
is that any better for you?
Yeah, it might be.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I started, I kind of iterated the and it's kind of stuck on something here. Well, that's the old version actually. I've been trying to redo the a cosmic forge, but make it like in a regular galaxy in the middle. I thought that would be kind of neat to kind of play with. Just again, just having fun and exporting, different images and what have you. But it's still not. It's still not doing the background. I'm still dialing, and it's still not doing what I want. And even though I'm on for that, I'm using 2.5 flash, and I may end up using 2.5 flash for. I can't remember if I used that for dashboard or if I used Pro, but at some point it was not listening to the things that I wanted. In fact, Google today was very stupid. It over and over and over again. I don't know if you found that with working with it today on your end too, but it was not doing what I wanted to do over and over and over again.
I haven't been using it too much today.
Okay, so what
just a little bit here and there.
Yeah, but you showed me something else, and this is something different here.
Yeah, this is a simple thing to see if any of the side scroller working.
Okay.
Yeah, this is nothing too elaborate, but my blocks here should work, and I got to.
Wow. So you can build your own side scroller?
Yeah.
Can you like export it as like a JSON or something so somebody else can?
I don't have to do that, but I don't see any reason
you
why
should
not.
be able to, and then you can set local storage or like
Sure.
IndexedDB to like save game files, like save this as. See, I'd be interested in iterating that, like at some point. I've got to do way more games. But
I want to have an idea where I am able to essentially generate the sprites for the game overall, and then upload the sprites to the game. Now this is just very, very simple,
of course,
shapes,
but that's how it starts.
Once I'm able to then iterate on it and actually make generations of real players and real blocks and all that kind of thing.
So Drunk Physics asks, can I ask you a question? I'm currently coding a board game of mine into a computer game, and I'm not sure how to approach making a CPU player to play against. Well, Drunk Physics, that's where the use case of an AI tool is going to come in very, very, very handy, like incredibly handy, because you can ask it like where to begin, like what it is that you're trying to do, compare it against like what it is that what's going to make a compelling gameplay. So I don't necessarily have it like for the Minesweeper game that isn't yet uploaded to the arcade, but like there's no CPU play. But when I did let's see if I can find it, Pedaddle, which I have not updated in a while, that's a CPU, and I just said, yeah, just make it something that it works, but like you can still win. You don't want to like have it like impossible to beat, but that was just something where I just dialed the controls. So if you gave it enough context, and it being whatever, you could effectively work your way through it. You could start in something like, well, Gemini, certainly, or maybe if you want it simple, but if you want it a little more complex, starting in something like AI Studio, or even upgrading your account on or for Claude and going that direction with Opus, if when you're actually developing the game. Now, unless you're really hands-on with the software development itself, it's a different story. But my main suggestion would be that. I mean, because it sounds to me like you would just ask. It will tell. It will, if you give it context. That's the thing. You've got to give it enough context. Oh, you're using Windsurf? Yeah, I've heard good things about it. I have yet to use even Claude Code. I can tell you right now, more people are using Claude Code than Windsurf, just in my app, what I'm seeing in terms of feed on my feed. But Google Gemini with their command line interface is got like just a massive ceiling. Like, what is 1 million or something a day?
Yeah, I believe it is 1 million. Yeah,
crazy. I'm like, I'm like, I've got to figure out how to use this. Like, I'm like, this is not my world. So even I'm trying to figure out, okay, how can I? Because that's crazy. That's an insane ceiling. It's insane. Oh, I also updated the arcade page to link to the feed and the email newsletter, and then created a new category for sound. Since I'm like, well, I've got some sound apps now, and I may end up doing more like music apps. When I'm interested. So I used it to move things around and clean things up. You've written it 95% of the way there, but CPU player is a pain. Again, I'd ask, tell it what's wrong, have it figure it out, and in many ways. What I would do is feed it what you've got, tell it the problem, tell it what you're trying to fix, and it will make suggestions that you can feed into another. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, sure. If you want, Drunk Physics, I'm happy, and it's good to see you again. If you want, I think you may have gotten the link to this session for vibe coding live streams that I threw onto the Locker Gnome Discord server, or I guess it's Chris Perilla one. But yeah, feel free to hop on. We can take a look. Happy to. Okay, so now back to which one do I want to work on first? Okay, let me close everything I don't need. This one I'm still working on. I'm going to start a new session for this one, your life dashboard. Make sure you click Canvas. I'm using Flash. I'm going to try it with Flash. I need 100 total dashboard cards. The start container has to have equidistant inner padding, and it has to always be at the center, even if you go back to it from the dashboard. Wait a minute. Did I? Oh yeah, so what's that one? Tell us what you're working on there, because you sent me this link. Oh, you did fix the button.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, so this is basically just a RPG character sheet generator. So it'll generate a picture, kind of like this guy here. It'll also generate your backstory. Basically, you're just going to pick which look that you want, which class you want, which race that you want, and then you can go and create a description around how you actually want the character to look. And it's going to take all that data, and it's going to generate a backstory for you, and it's going to generate a picture, as well as your stats at the bottom.
Interesting. And you're using what for the AI?
I'm using AI, and I'm using the back for imaging.
As I'm working with somebody, and I guess we haven't necessarily, I don't want to put his name out there on the radar yet, but he's helping me take what I built in Lovable and get it staged for Locker Gnome. The idea of rebuilding Locker Gnome to be a community where, you can share prompts and tips and tricks in lockers and then share them, store them, share them, etc. He's kind of helping re-architect it. And, as well as we talked about, well, on the Locker Gnome website, everybody has a portfolio. So for example, if you're putting your HTML files that you build somewhere, you'd be able to link to them from there. So all your Gemini projects, you'd be able to link to from your portfolio, right? On a locker room website. And I was like, well, how are we going to, I kept thinking, well, how am I going to generate avatars? And so what you've built here is kind of like the foundation for what it is that I want to do. I want to like have like not exactly 8-bit, not voxel necessarily, but little gnome avatars. And maybe voxel is the right approach to like little gnome, random gnome avatar generator. And I just haven't started it. You know what I'm saying? But like something for an avatar to be generated. And as Pixel said, yeah, I said this to him earlier. Just use OBS share, and then you basically can join by a webcam, and then add the extra camera and StreamYard easily. Because then it's just easy, so you can see everybody can see each other's screen. And the funny thing is, the way this laid out was exactly how it laid out organically. I'm looking at my screen, Pixel's looking at his. It's perfect.
Yeah, right, yeah. So how I ended up having to do it instead of hitting share screen, because it didn't show my virtual camera, I actually joined the room twice and then just used the webcam on both.
Interesting. Although, did you make audio adjustments?
I did a little bit, and
yeah, because it may be capping you too much as it's trying to minimize.
I can put on my headphones, and that should fix the whole thing.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Flash did it. I think Flash got 100. I think I got what I wanted. Nope. Okay. Hang on. 9.
I suppose I could have if they were charged. Let me see.
When going to start over, the dialogue is in the upper left, not in the exact same position as it is on start. I don't understand. Sometimes I don't understand what's so freaking hard about all this. Moreover, that start container still has incongruent inner padding. It's the easiest way I can explain it here. 0914. There we go. Hey, Ikafar, good to see you. If at any point you want to vibe code together, that's the idea. I don't want to do this on my own anymore. I mean, I can. I have no problem with that. But like, I feel it's going to be a ton of fun. Oh, look at that! I'm live on all the networks. Great. Yeah, this is. Is it really though 100? Let me see if I can count it. Okay, so let me do the count here. Yeah, it looks like 100. So it starts at 201, so it should go to 348. 201. Wait a minute. That's strange. It's got. Are you? How many? That's like. Are you displaying all the? Let's see here. Total years, constants. Total years 90. Total weeks and years. Why is it total constant years 90? Weird. Okay. You seem to have a ton in stats config, but I'm not seeing all of those in the actual output page that's generated based on a birth date. This is where I dig deeper. I'm like, wait, why am I not seeing some of this stuff? You are correct. Yes, I know I'm correct.
Okay, let me know if that ended up fixing the echo problem.
Yeah, no worries. look, okay, hang on. Grooming minutes per day. Like, this is just, it's getting all the data, or this is what it should be displaying. All this stuff. It should be, I got to figure out why it's not showing me those cards. Let's see how this output works, though. Waiting backstage. I don't see you. Make sure you're going to the one. If you're a Jedi, make sure you're going to the link. Give me a second. All right, Junk. I still have you on. There we go. I gave you the link. There's two different links. There's the one that I use for my regular stream, and then the one that I've got set up specifically for this. All right. This is a big ass app.
So I did miss a little bit of that. So what were you working on here?
Oh, this is your live dashboard.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Is it? I'm seeing more constant. Like, why are these? All these not being seen on the output? At least not yet. Let's find out. Your live dashboard. Still not correct. I'll get it there. There is drunk physics. Not yet. All right, we got you, drunk physics.
One sec, I need to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay, so this is the game. It looks like this. Let me just mute the sound.
Yeah. Hang on. Oh shoot. Sorry. Let's do this.
Can you see this okay? Because I'm using
Yeah.
OBS, but I don't stream. This is like I very rarely use it.
Although I don't know why I'm not able to pull you up large, because this should be. This is very strange.
It's not allowing you.
No, it wasn't for some reason. Yeah. No. Look at me playing with all the layouts here. There was another layout that I had that should work substantially better for this particular flow. Come on. There. This is gonna have to work. Okay. Galton Quest. Okay, so this is, yeah. And you've been doing this drunk physics on using what were you using?
This is JavaScript.
Oh, it's just straight up JavaScript, but using Windsurf to generate.
No, well, to assist, I think is the right word.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I learned my JavaScript at uni, so it's pretty old school. But with the generation of AI out there that can help me, like with the bits, fill in the bits that I'm not too sure about, it's been really useful. But basically, it's a Galton board with. So how do I explain this game? It's a Galton board with a player board that determines how you're going to get credits. You then get to swap. You then get to upgrade your board based on where the balls drop. So you've got balls dropping here,
almost
and then,
like a Plinko.
Yeah, like a pachinko machine.
Pachinko, yeah.
Except you'll collect some credits based on where it dropped, based on your board, well, based on the top layer of the board, your player board. So, for example, if it lands here, you're going to get 2 coins at the minute, and in the middle 1, and then 2 on the side. The second layer, I've still got to label these. I haven't labeled them yet. They'll be labeled. This second line here is a victory points, and the third line is special powers, which you can add to the bottom of these.
Oh, fascinating.
So when you upgrade, like, you can roll dice and get these are poison balls that you can add to other players' boards. That's going to deduct resources from them. But anyway, the point is that, let's say, for example, I wanted to upgrade one of these, yeah, right? So I could, if I wanted to, upgrade them, but that's not the problem. The problem is that I come to renew my balls and whatever. I move to the second player, and basically I've got it working such that it's just making the choices that I would make, because I don't actually know how to create an AI.
Okay, so you need to basically generate the CPU.
I've got no idea how to generate CPU. It's not something I've ever done before. And when I asked Windsurf, like, can you generate me a CPU? It doesn't. It's like it doesn't really. It gives me a list of things that I need to do, but it doesn't actually know how to do that.
Okay, so then, okay, so AI Studio. What do you? Is it just straight up HTML, JavaScript?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I can't. How could I don't have your game. Give me a second.
Did you want me to show you the code? I mean, I can show you the code.
No, I don't need to see the code. I'm just going to try something on my end. Do I have any CPU player games?
I just need to get an idea of how I can.
Okay, so like.
No, like if I ask, like for example, if I ask Windsurf right now, like, you know.
Don't just ask. Like, tell it. Like, I need you effectively to develop and help me flesh out the CPU player such that it's within these parameters. The house doesn't always win. It's still, you define your context, right? But if Windsurf can't do it, first of all, that would surprise me. Second of all, I know you could feed this to another tool, again, like Google Gemini, whether using, Flash or Pro. And
Windsurf has got Gemini already in it. So Windsurf, you can choose what AI you use, right?
Yeah.
So it's got Claude, it's got Gemini. I can tell you what models it's got.
So then it's a matter of, it's telling you what to do. Turn it around. Like, no, you do it. You do it. I need you to do it. Have you told it that you need it to do it? I'm serious, because I've had I had the exact same problem with Copilot, and this is one of the reasons I was trying it, like integrated on my GitHub, and I'm like, I need to blah 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 blah. Oh, here, it's easy to do. I'm like, no, I need you to do it. Well, all you have to do is like, no, I need you to do it.
Well, the problem is when I ask the Windsurf to do something like that, it's just too much. It basically ends up producing a load of syntax errors and cascade problems that I then have to try and clean up, and I really don't want to go through the headache. Like, it's such a mess.
So can you phase it? And I think someone even mentioned this too. Create a project with multiple files, or define what you want to do, and then do it in how did I do this? So when I was sketching Locker Gnome.
First of all, did you have a particular AI that actually was better at this than any other AI? Did you do it in Gemini?
I'm just going to tell you, Gemini has been, and I'm talking not AI Studio, not through the command line. I'm like full in on Gemini. Like it's
okay. I'll try. I've got access to Gemini 2.5 Pro.
Yeah.
Gemini 2.5 Flash and Gemini 2.5 Flash Thinking.
I have been just as impressed with Flash and HTML development as I was with Pro. Just as.
So which one would you recommend out of them to try?
Pro is going to give you, it's going to be meatier, but Flash is going to be faster, if that makes sense. Like to generate. Yeah. So I don't know, I think Pro sometimes overthinks it and misses the mark. When I try to, right now I'm using Flash because I just kept running into walls with Pro. So I switched over. I'm like, let me copy this out and then move over to Flash. And then it was fine.
All right, I'll try Flash. I'll see what Gemini Flash looks like.
So, but here's my suggestion would be, okay, let me open up a new Flash, or I guess a Gemini, and say, I am looking to flesh flesh out, develop a CPU player for a game, but I want to make sure and here's all my requirements, whatever. This is done in stages, phases, help with planning, right? And then I can say, just hit return. I'm on Flash, so it's going to return pretty quick. But it's basically, once you feed it what you want, it's going to create phases. So phase 1, your goal is this. The characteristics are this. The tasks are this. This is not, and then, okay, so then you've got testing. So you can even run like tests against the code if you want. Or tell Windsurf, create tests to verify that this phase is done, right? So that's it's another step. But then it goes on to phase 2. So then it's just copy, paste. Then it's on to phase 3. Then it's on to phase 4. So my suggestion is you stair step it. Don't give it everything all at once.
Yeah.
Do it in phases, and don't just think, well, what do I need to start with? Just give it in stages. So when I was, see if I can find this again.
How long did it take you? To get something functional?
For what? I mean,
like a CPU player that's functional.
It didn't take long at all, but my requests weren't that deep. The context wasn't that deep. But
yeah, there's got quite a lot of rules to the game, so I think
so. When I needed to, and this is a horrible way of showing
it. I don't even know what a good strategy to the game is yet.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like I can't know.
But that's what you say. You give a tool, whatever your tool is. You say, "Here's what the game is. I don't necessarily know what the best strategy for this game is yet.
Yeah,
but I need to develop a CPU player that's competitive." Again, use natural language, and I need to build this out in phases. I also need to build testing to ensure that the phases are truly complete. And then, so help me build the phases, bake it, and then based on that, based on just giving that context in the file specifically, you've got to give it the code. Then it'll go through and like, well, the game looks like this, and this looks like the mechanics here. And all right, well, phase 1 will be X, phase 2 will be Y, phase 3 will be Z. And then these are the things then you take, again, you've got your code. Then you go through, you can throw it into, well, if you're using Windsurf, you can throw it into Gemini, you can throw it, Claude Code, whatever. You say, you don't even have to say this is phase 1. You just say, do this. Boom. Do this. And then, was phase 1 complete? Run these tests. Do these things work? Is this test, are these changes valid? Right?
No, I've never asked whether the AI knows whether the thing's working or not. I always determine it's working by actually testing it myself.
Yeah. But if you're also telling me you're not sure what the mechanics are, so you can test it, but
no, the mechanics of the game are complete.
Sorry, not mechanics, strategy. So
I don't know what the optimal strategy is for the game yet.
Punt to AI. Have it plan. Have it set it out in phases. Don't just say make the AI. That's the worst thing you can do. Or sorry, make the CPU. That's the worst thing you can do. The best thing you can do is set context and break it in chunks. So that way it's figured out what's the most complex thing, what's the baseline. It's done all that work. It's done the heavy work.
It's like achievable. It's like small achievable goals.
Things. And so, okay, this is the basic. This is great. All right. Now that we've done that, great. So I've got my code. Now do this. Then do this. Then do this. So you have it do the planning, have it do the sketching out, and then you kind of take it from there, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, great. I'll give it a go.
That's exactly.
I'll try Gemini.
One of the interesting things is that in the future there will have AI agents that will then be able to play your game and find that optimal strategy for you.
That would be great. That would be great. When I did, one of the first questions I asked was about making an AI, and basically it's overkill for such a small game. But,
yeah,
it would simulate playing itself like hundreds of times.
Don't have it overthink.
Yeah, it's just pointless. So I'm gonna all right, I'll try and break it down and see if I can make some achievable goals with the CPU player. I mean, is it still possible to make an easy, medium, and hard? Like, I don't even know what that would mean.
Okay, again, you know, think through the things that you want to, all the questions you want to ask. I mean, everything you're asking me, just think through those questions or restate those questions as you're framing the, I don't know the strategy. You know, can we make an easy, medium, and hard? What's the plan? Ask it, have it build the plan, and then take that plan that it makes and feed it back. Whatever tool you're using, right? You could use one. I did this the other day. I'm like, you know what? Gemini is being stupid. Let me take this HTML file, bring it over to Claude saying, what's wrong? Why is this not working? And it said, oh, it's because you've done this, stupid. No, I didn't say stupid, but like, you know, I'm like, oh, okay. So then I fed that back to Gemini, and Gemini said, oh, of course, yes, naturally.
Yeah, it's really annoying when it does that.
You know,
because Swap AI, the best AI at the moment I've been using for very fast and well worked results is SWE1.
I haven't tried that.
It's very, very good. It's very, very good. But when it makes a mistake, it can't work out. Like once it's made a mistake, I was almost swear there. Held my now. Once it's made a mistake, it never can work out why it's made that mistake. It's not like it's not very good at reanalyzing its original incorrect assumptions. So you end up just going around in circles.
Yep.
And eventually it just makes the code worse and worse and worse and worse and
worse. And that's the worst thing you can do. That is the worst thing is just getting in that. And that's where having kind of quote unquote save states, you know, like, okay, I like where the code is now. I like what's working. And this is where you've got to put on.
That's what I do. I've got save states. I copy the files at a point where I'm really happy with it and I can make progress. Exactly
what you need to do, because I do the same damn thing. And I'm sure if I was a developer, I'd be able to do a better damn job. But like, it's still something like, okay, this is working the way I want it to work. Let me copy this out and then move on from there. And so
even with the help of AI, it's still an enormous amount of work. It's no joke. Like,
it's not
even this small program for me has been quite a long job. Like I'm not a professional coder, but as a hobbyist. No, but as a hobbyist, someone who can as a hobby coder, so it's still taken ages because there's so many little effects and upgrades and stuff.
Let's see here. How could I? Give me a second. I could do something like, oops.
I do not like ChatGPT at all, by the way. It's great giving you a plan, ChatGPT, but it does not execute code well. It gives you a good plan. Except
Codex on ChatGPT. If you've got a GitHub account, and you should, Codex actually helped me through the C64 simulator, the issues that I was having with it. And now it's not perfect. Like I'm still not quote unquote debugging. I put it on GitHub, but Codex will spin up a container and actually address the bugs that you're running into to figure out, oh, this is what's wrong.
Right.
This is what needs to be fixed. But it's a little more, I found myself kind of hitting a ceiling with Gemini where I didn't hit the ceiling with using Codex. And that's ChatGPT. But just using ChatGPT raw for code, don't do it.
Raw is just terrible.
It's a mistake.
I haven't tried Codex. I've tried DeepSeek, Claude, and SWE1 and O3. OpenAI O3 it's like using a hammer to It's like using a hammer to put in to smash a piece of paper. It's like,
yeah, basically.
It's ridiculous. It's not what needs to be used.
I'm trying to get this layout working right again. So all right, so this is Codex.
I've never used Codex.
What's that?
Never used it.
So it's a pro thing. I almost like downgraded. I was like, dude, I'm so downgrading. I'm like, I'm not using ChatGPT at all anymore. And then I was like, and then people say, oh, try Codex. I'm like, okay, well, let me see what's going on here. And so it asks, what are we coding next? And so what you do is you connect a repository, or create an environment for a different repository, right? So you're basically setting up containers. And let's see here. So what if I wanted to, What's one thing that I could bring this in? I'm looking at something that I may actually want to update. Ant Farm just may be dead on the vine, but I never shipped it. I couldn't get it to work. But like Alien Computer. Wait, unless I already set up Alien Computer. I didn't. Okay. So I'm going to set up Alien Computer. This is the GitHub for Alien Computer here. Set it up. I could give it a description if I want. I could add environment variables, secrets, all that stuff. And I don't have any secrets. I'm not using any APIs. I'm creating an environment, and then suddenly, bam, I'm ready to use it. Right? I can edit the environment, or I'm just ready to use it. So, describe a task. Someone did this. Someone asked on the it wasn't a request, it was an issue. They wanted a screenshot feature. Add a screenshot feature that feels native to the app's look and feel, using floating glyphs that feel organic to the experience. Okay, so I gave it something, and I say, okay, code. So then what it does is basically spins up a container. Now the speed at which it spins up the container, anybody's guess. But watch. This is specifically ChatGPT Codex. And anything that I do, it's all raw HTML. I'm not pulling in APIs or anything like that. So it dynamically spins up a container specifically for that, to make a pull request for that repository on GitHub. And I still don't know how to use GitHub very well. I'm like, wait a minute, why did that not work? What am I doing wrong? So then it's downloading the code. It's going through, it's saying, okay, here's what's going on. Here's what I got to make have happen. So
what? It will run it. It will. How weird.
Yeah. So it's actually.
So it runs it in the cloud rather than on your PC, or what?
Yeah, it's in the it's all. Oh yeah, it's not on the PC. I don't.
I've been running everything locally till I'm ready to take it out.
Yeah. See, I just me personally, I'd rather not. I'd rather run it in the cloud and I don't want to do any of this stuff locally. They've got way more compute cycles than I do, and it's part of the package. So yeah, doing stuff locally is nice, but we'll see if this actually works. I don't know.
How strange! I've never thought about running it via the Codex or the cloud.
Yeah, it's a little different.
It's not. I'm too old school. That's the problem.
I know,
I think
yeah.
Things have moved on, and I've not moved on. So I'm still I've still got old habits that I'm still doing that.
See, that's the beautiful thing of not having been. I am old school, but I'm also like, yeah, but this sucks. How could this be better? Oh, this is great. I love this. This is the only way I would ever consider using any kind of code generation tool with ChatGPT. The only one.
Yeah, interesting.
End of story. For sure. So yeah, it's running through everything that it needs to run through. I gave it context. It add a screenshot feature that feels native to the app's look and feel. Now the only problem with this is sometimes it doesn't nail it. Right, and then I have to do the whole thing all over again. But you don't have to close the container. You don't have to do that. You can, and it's still a little difficult. It doesn't like Gemini. It does not give, unlike Gemini, I should say, it doesn't give you a live dynamic preview, and that's what I like. And probably Pixel feels the same way. That's what I like about Google Gemini. I can see the changes right in line. It's right there, but I'm all straight HTML, right? So
at some point, I'll have the confidence to try and code in something that I'm not used to, because I've only ever done Python, JavaScript, and C++.
Well,
so that's all I ever code in, because those are the ones I understand.
The funny thing is, I never learned. Apart from basic programming on the on the C64, everything I always did was HTML. So. Someone was on TikTok when I posted a short today. Someone says, "Oh, you're vibe coding in HTML? That's so basic. I was doing that and blah 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 blah." I'm like, I said the apps work. What does it matter? If the apps work, if they do what I want them to do, what the hell does it matter? Like, for something maybe more complex, yeah, I might use something a little more in depth. For something basic, if it works, what do I care? What does anybody care?
We've come a long way with HTML. It was
big time, dude.
I mean, I remember it a long time ago. It was really difficult.
No.
It was a real pain.
Keeps
It was buggy.
Every step of the way keeps advancing over and over and over. So
yeah. It's come a long way.
Everything you see on the arcade, everything is HTML, JavaScript, CSS. No external dependencies in any one of these things except the meeting simulator. That does have external dependencies that requires video to be pulled in locally. So I did an AI generation of video of people talking.
I was wondering how you did that, actually.
What's that?
I was wondering how you did that when I first experienced it.
I said, okay, here's what you do. I said, make it such that only one person is talking at a time. Everybody else is frozen. Make the chat dynamic. Make it so that sometimes at random, one person may be talking, but you can't see their face. People join. People quit. It's always an even layout, right? Like 6, 4, 9, I think. And so then basically it's the meeting emulator. But yeah, each video is just it's used locally. But it uses your webcam, right? So it looks like I'm in the actual meeting with everything.
Yeah.
But it's Gemini, right? It's all everything that you see here is HTML. Everything.
I was just impressed with how well it was able to generate those videos for the other people talking.
Yep, that's how.
I asked AI just yesterday, how long is it going to take before we don't need any actors? Like,
oh, dude, HeyGen just
we're basically there.
hang on.
They said it will probably be Hollywood. No. Hollywood normalization within 2 to 5 years.
No, it's now. And I'm saying this because today, HeyGen just dropped. See if I can.
Has anyone dropped a full movie, like a full 1.5 hour movie?
Oh, that's coming, but it'll happen. I think that's going to happen.
That's what I'm saying. Fact, I think we've still got a couple of years before that.
No. I'll say within the year. I'm going to say within 365 days. I bet you we're going to see that. I bet you anything within
a 90-minute full AI 90-minute movie. No real people in it.
Yep.
You could technically do that now.
I'm telling you. So look, HeyGen just dropped this.
No one's done it though.
So
but I mean, you could theoretically do it.
You could do it, and I guarantee someone's working on it right now. So this is insane. So HeyGen is doing something called a creative operating system. Upload a doc, some footage, or even just a sentence. Analyzes your input, finds the story, writes the script with taste, selects the shots, or generates the footage. So this is basic. This is more like simple commercials, 60-second clips, or whatever the hell. But I'm telling you, you do this and iterate the right way. I've got a script that I've been wanting to bring to life that I'm like, I don't think the tools are there yet.
So
brings
Chris,
me closer to that idea.
I mean, interrupt you, but I heard that Claude is actually better right now at doing like novels and things like that, doing creative writing.
I believe it.
And so, yeah, it might not be, and a lot of people say that it's great at coding. I have not experienced that yet, but a lot of people say that. But they say that it's very good at creative writing at the moment.
I haven't found Claude to be good at coding. I'll believe it when I see it.
Claude, I don't disagree, at least in terms of design. I haven't used Claude Code natively or in any way. And I've only, because I downgraded my Claude subscription because I'm like, I don't know if I really like the output that I'm getting.
There's a lot of different versions of Claude as well. There's Claude 3.5, Sonnet 3.7, Claude Sonnet 4.
Pretty much all of the different LLMs have many different models.
So back to ChatGPT, ChatGPT. It's now gone through. It says, here's the summary. It worked for 3 minutes. Make a floating glyph button style with CSS, provides a screenshot option that blends with the existing interface design. Clicking the glyph now triggers HTML to canvas to capture and download the dashboard as an image. Documentation mentions the new screenshot button for users. So it shows me, it updated the README. It updated the only file that I had, the index. And there's your diff, basically. Or it added, what it changed. And then now I can create a pull request. copy the patch or copy git apply. So I could create a draft PR. You know, or the one thing that I wish I could do, there's a split diff, right? The one thing I wish I could do from here is actually download the index file that it edited, that it made easily. And it because that's how I'm working, right? And it doesn't do that, because what happens if I create a pull request is if I create subsequent pull requests, it doesn't it says there are conflicts in the branch, and I don't know how to get around that.
I wonder if it's the references.
I'm not exactly sure. And for whatever it's worth, Ikafar, you're writing Next.js code. That's where Claude seems to be working well. Ikafar, the new version really of Locker Gnome, or the updated version of Locker Gnome that I'm working on, or we're working on, is on Next.js for whatever it's worth, and we're going to be looking for some assistance. Now, I think we're going to be able to get something out of the gate, like working, but like in terms of updating, using these tools, these management tools, I feel like finding other people who are hip to it is going to be critical. So it is also Node.js. Okay, so let me create the the pull request, and I'll show you exactly how this works, or at least how I'm
going to remain watching, but I'm going to have to leave because it's like nearly 3 a.m. in the UK.
Off, dude. It's okay. It's all good.
Thank you for your help, by the way. I really appreciate it.
All good. That's what I'm here for. Okay, let me keep this big. So then you can view the pull request. There it is. It has a summary. There's the testing. It's got the link. There are no conflicts with the base branch. This is where I have to be careful. This is where what I've learned is, like, I need to actually view the file. So I go view file. This is what I do to verify. Oh, no, that's not the file. That's the README. There we go. Index. Download the file. Try it. Right? And where's the screenshot? Oh, there it is down there. Did it work? Alien dashboard. Okay. Yeah, it worked. Okay, so if I hit refresh, let me hit that. Screen grab. Alien dashboard. It worked. Okay, great. So now, in the screenshot, it takes a couple seconds. Oh, wait. No, it did not pull in. Hang on, I may have a glitch. Like, it's not the screen grab. Let me go back. Okay, so now I go back. The screenshot feature doesn't capture what I'm seeing, and it's not multimodal. This is another thing that kind of pisses me off with the codecs, ChatGPT codecs, not multimodal. So I can't drag in a screenshot, and you kind of get spoiled. Like, are you doing it? Hang on, are you doing a Tetris clone?
Yeah, but it's made out of sand.
Tetris? Hang on. Shut up. Oh my god, I love it.
I actually have 3 different modes as well.
That's hilarious, dude. So how does it know it's got a Tetris?
So it goes from one side to the other. So if you have any color going straight from one side to the other, it'll take out all of that color out of the board.
Dude, that is genius.
So if I were to, like, let's see if I get that yellow out. I'm probably not going to be able to get the yellow at the moment.
That's hard.
Let's see. Yeah, there we go.
There you go. Okay, so you've got to connect it from one side to the other.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Got it. Dude, can I iterate that?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's good. Okay, screenshot feature doesn't capture what I'm seeing on the screen at the time entirely. So before committing that pull request, I'm going to update it. Some panels render fine, some are blank. So I'm telling you,
it actually took me a minute to get it to go and do the sand physics right.
Dude, it's great. I love the idea, dude.
It was not. It took me a minute to make it so that it would go into sand pieces and not just. I don't know really how to explain it, but it wasn't breaking apart like sand.
Okay, so I got to make sure you get the credit for this one. But this is crazy. Yeah, I want to iterate this one. This one I definitely want to play with.
And yeah. So if I go back out here and restart it, so I've actually got easy with 3 colors, normal with 4 colors, and hard with 5 colors.
Oh, this is great, dude. Meanwhile,
So, like,
Codex is doing its thing.
Yeah.
Eclipse Empire. Hey, good to see you. Are you back? Did you go back? Are you home? Home again, jiggity jig. Look at that. Yeah, I would pay real cash money for that. So now are you actually uploading your files, what you make? Like
I'm
anywhere?
actually not.
Okay.
I kind of dabbled in trying to, because there was a software that I was using a while back for hosting a website off of my main PC here, but I couldn't figure out where it was anymore.
Oh God!
And,
you know, one of the things that I talked about with the person that's helping me get the idea of a rebooted Locker Gnome online is making it easier for people to host a portfolio. Whether it's on a subdomain or what have you. And in many ways, you're kind of validating that idea. Like even me, like I've got, I just throw it onto a quote unquote arcade because I'm like, well, I need to put it somewhere, right?
Right, yeah. It reminds me a lot of WebSim. I don't know if you ever got back on that or not, but it's so good for like bringing like getting inspiration and shit.
What is it?
WebSim.
WebSim?
Yeah.
That's my OpenGemini. There's the C64.
.ai. WebSim.ai. So yeah, if I don't know if you have it pulled up or not, but I've got it pulled up on my screen here.
Yeah, I've got you up. Well,
yeah. So it's just like a bunch of random things that people have coded through vibe coding.
What's the link again? Oh, thank you for following Dev Guardo. What is it? WebSynth?
Sim.
WebSim. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I must have gone to that link. WebSim.
Yeah, you went to it one time, yeah.
I did. Well, why
Dark
is this broken? Speedrun. Crazy. This is great. I mean, most of these things are garbage, but like
sure. And they will be.
Yeah, but what I love is the inspiration. I love looking at it and going, like, I wonder if I did it this way and I did it that way. Like how?
Yeah. I mean, it's like that's good, but it can be.
Yeah, like to make it, my thing, right? This is crazy. Real Robux generator. Oh my God. Oxy reacts to comments. I just love these inspiration points. I love. Oh, Geometry Dash. So wait, okay. So on WebSim. So you can create, okay, I get it. And then you log in, assumedly. Yeah, okay.
And I don't know what their code or what their prompt is behind all this, but you simply just put in your idea and it'll just make it for you. And there's no errors, really. It doesn't
it's
generate
all HTML,
errors in that way.
It's all HTML. I guarantee everything here is HTML.
Oh, I'm sure it is. But I'm just saying, like, there's no I couldn't do so and so because of an error.
Look at this. It's a Google phone. This reminds me of the iPhone thing that I did. It's exactly the same. Android was really this crappy back in the day. Oh my God. In fact, mine was better.
Yeah.
My iPhone simulator was a little better.
Yeah, I saw that.
But here's the thing: is it's like, oh, look at this Google vibe coding. It's great. Oh my God! I love this. I gotta remember this. I have to for inspiration. I have to remember this for inspiration. Tree. Behind the hell? Oh, and then it even shows you the is that like a book kind of thing? What the hell? Play the best games made by web sim users. I just love this. I love this. Just for inspiration. Forget anything else.
While I have you on here, I'm going to show you my that tank game that I was trying to show you a while back.
Okay, yeah.
That I was working on. Sit.
What's up? Thank you everybody for tuning in to another vibe coding session. As I try to get this to... No, it's like still not working. Please. I'm telling you, just trying to fix this pattern. It's got everything done for the Your Life dashboard mostly. I've got to like correct a couple things, but then I'll add the SEO tag stuff. Vibe coding doesn't really work. You want to bet? Do you want to bet? How much do you want to bet? Because let me tell you, I dare you to go over to any place on the arcade. Dare you to go to any one of the apps on the arcade. I mean, granted, you're going to find bugs anywhere and everywhere. But some of them are like fully functional apps.
Okay, here you go.
Some of them are games, some of them are play. Okay, what do you got? Oh, yeah, it's like Combat from Atari.
Yeah, so basically I've got little zombies here, and they're all trying to, trying to get to you to kill you. And I've got little pickups that you can get. Like, I've actually just, the last thing I put in here was a shield. That spawns every 5 levels. You pick up these crates for ammo, and every level that goes up, they increase in speed.
I want to fork this one too.
And also, I've got it on P2P, so you could actually theoretically, join me in the same game.
That's crazy.
I actually got pretty good at it.
Oh, this is good. Yeah, I want to fork this. I've been wanting to do more games anyway.
Right. Yeah, you see, they're increasing in numbers. And,
increasing in numbers, yeah.
Yeah, see, this is my shield, yeah. I've also got another pickup that destroys all the zombies on the map. I think I put it at every, 4 level, or no, I think I put it higher than that. That one, the purple one there, I think, is the one that I did that for. I was thinking about adding in, different, missiles and things like that.
Nah, I think the mechanic is simple. I wouldn't... I'm looking.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna too far with it, but I wanted something that was slightly different, maybe like a 3-shot or something. I don't know.
Oh, like a spread.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spread or something. But yeah, so now I can't get that because that's a shield. I already have a shield, so I'll do that and then I'll go back to the shield. But yeah, the main purpose of this game was just to see if I could get it working on multiplayer, and I was able to do that.
So here's the thing. You're saying the design looks awful. It's playable, and the design can always be iterated. It can be improved.
Yeah, exactly.
1, so the mechanics work. 2, you say AI can't do as good as a job as humans. Really? You sure about that, buddy? You sure? You sure about that? Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and look at what is happening inside of companies right now, not in the future. Let's talk about what they're doing. What's happening right now. This was an article that was just published yesterday. What will AI mean for jobs? Because we're human, right? We're all human. Can't do as good of a job as humans. Well, humans are being replaced. So let me go ahead and drag this over. This is an article over on Blood in the Machine. Tech executives are pouring fuel on the flames. What's actually happening on the ground right now? So this person put out a call in the hopes of finding some answers. Had a vague idea for a project I'd call AI Killed My Job. And basically what came back was tons of stories. So they selected 15 that represent the trends. Content moderator at TikTok replaced. AI is killing the software engineer discipline. This is a software engineer at Google. Former staff engineer at Dropbox. How AI eliminated my job at Dropbox. It's no longer only an issue of higher ups. Colleagues are...
In recent years,
particularly
in 2023 and 2024, Dropbox has undergone several rounds of layoffs and restructuring. These changes have affected a significant portion of their workforce, including positions across various teams and seniority levels.
Okay, so Google's verifying the data that I'm reading, right? So AI killed 2 of my jobs, veteran tech worker at Adobe and in the public sector. These are stories, right? No crypto, no AI. This is just a general tech worker. Gradual addition of AI to the workplace. Computer programmer. Software engineer, large tech firm. My experience with AI at work and how I just wanted to make it do what I don't want to do myself. These are stories. I mean, I'm not going to read everything verbatim. FinTech worker, AI native, high school interns. That's basically what it is. Today, current CrowdStrike employee. Today, not tomorrow, not a year from now, today, my job hasn't been killed yet. Front end, and I tell you what, AI could do a better job at designing products for Apple than I did Apple. Apple's interface now with Google Liquid Ass. What are they calling their new design ethos? Liquid Ass? It looks like it. Mac OS Tahoe looks like a knockoff Linux version of Mac OS. That's seriously, it's amateur hour. It's absolute amateur hour. AI, quote unquote, experience, ed tech worker. AI makes everything worse. Senior developer at cloud company. Then came the tomatoes, tech worker at well-known tech company. So a lot of stories to pour over. Is at bloodinthemachine.com. So you can sit there and say, I can't do as good a job as humans. You're missing you're burying the lead. Can it do as good of a job? Humans are controlling it. Humans are setting the context for it.
And the thing that I always go back to is that you, as someone who is not a developer, you can get your concept out to a functional state, even if it's not pretty. You know, you can relay that information so much better to a person who does do coding, and they can pretty it up for you.
Or a designer, right? So the way I look at it, I'm looking at your game. I'm like, I think I'd like to work with this. I'd like to improve a few things from my point of view. Like, okay, I think I could do this. I would take it a certain direction. I would want to take it a certain direction, and then have something that works for the way that I want it to work. So
right. And it might be a better way.
Better is relative.
Overall,
So I'm going to go a step further here, Pixel. So I've got like a few tools that I could upload for everybody, but I don't think anybody cares. So I needed a way to make tweet storms based upon like what it was that I was creating. And so I just created a tool to do what I needed to do. I didn't go to a developer. I didn't need it to be pretty. I didn't need to subscribe to an app or a service, software as a service. I just made it. I abstracted so many different layers by creating a tool that I needed to use. So don't sit there and say that AI can't do as good of a job as humans, because you're burying the lead. You're burying the lead.
Yeah, there's multiple programs that I've made that I just needed to do slightly different things than what I could find available.
Yep. So, all right, here we go. Let's view the PR. Hang on. Do I have to? Okay, let's see if this worked.
I actually was dabbling in making a web conference app.
Oh, there you go. You can do it using what is it? P2P. What's the WebRTC?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like Jitsi. Yeah, this is still not working right.
If you want to actually send this over to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to clone.
If you want to go and if you want to test and see if you can connect over the multiplayer piece for just a second, just to test it.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, there's that, and there is my connection code.
I may end up giving up on this idea too. Okay, hang on just a second. Let me open up that.
I tried to go with your ant colony thing.
Yeah,
and,
the ant thing.
I made something.
It was hard, dude.
I tried to flip it.
Wait, no, hang on. I need your code. That's the. I need the. Oh, there it is. Okay, hang on. Got it. Multiplayer. Your friend's ID. There we go. Okay, let me drag it over so that everybody else can see it. Okay, so now, what is your?
Oh, it's arrow keys and your mouse.
Okay, there we go. Oh God, arrow key. It's a little.
Yeah, I know. It's a little. It's a little weird.
It's taking some getting used to.
It's really technically supposed to be WASD, and you can use those as well.
Oh, I use the arrow keys. Like, wait, hang on. Why is it not firing?
You probably ran out of ammo.
Oh shoot!
You'll have to go find a box.
The problem is, like, here's the problem. Like, I can't. It's relative, right? It's the direction is relative to. I'm looking for the. There we go.
Yeah, there's one.
Get away! Run away!
But yeah, I mean, that's amazing that we're able to even play this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so it works. This is a P2P. I remember the first time. Oh, there we go. Some ammo. The first time I ever played like basically a P2P game was an IPS SPX connection Doom 2 over a regular modem connection. Oh crap. It's relative to the front of the tank. That's the. And just being blown away. Absolutely blown away. Come on. Don't want to waste it. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, this game definitely could use some polish or
but here's the thing: I get it, and the mechanics is just talking through the user controls, and I've got an idea of like I would just go with an 8-bit or a pixel art style grid, rather than the.
I was going for like apartment buildings and then grass.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, no, I know. I mean, I was like, oh, those are buildings. Like, I get it. Like, I'm not. Remember, I grew up with a freaking Atari. So
yeah, sure, yeah. Like original Nintendo.
Design, the box art was like insanely better. I wish I could get on my inner angry video game nerd here.
I don't know if you ever played.
Crap.
It was very basic.
No, this is basic. I mean, but here's the thing: the crap. Oh. Sorry, I died.
No, you're good. Yeah.
So we got to restart. Oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't put any logic in for
okay.
saving states.
Scotty, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. In fact, so you're gonna love this, Scotty. Someone on a vlog that a preview vlog, it has not been published for everybody. YouTube members get access to it, and someone commented today saying, "Oh, I just realized I was gifted a membership," and we can thank Scotty for doing that. So thank you for gifting memberships and subscriptions and support. Right now I'm playing. This is what I'm saying. So like, even though it's not perfect, I'm still playing the game, and that tells me everything I need to know, right? Well, this is going to be my next iteration. All right, I'm gonna quit. I don't know what happens if I refresh. I don't want to like destroy your game.
Oh no, you're all good. Yeah.
Okay, because I want to get back to this. Files changed. Index. That's the README. Index.
Oh, I'm going to send you the sand Tetris as well.
Did this also that kind of that mostly redesigned. There we go. Okay.
Does this send the code as well? I'm not sure if it does.
Is there nebula at all? Is that green? That's green. Let me hit a new galaxy here. That's black. Thank you so much, Scotty. And hello, Jamie. We're just vibe coding our way through the universe.
I think one of the problems with my Tetris sand game, it's when you have the harder difficulty, it's taking the purple and the pink and making it basically the same color when it falls into sand.
Well, can you make a different a different color, like a dramatic?
Yeah, you can. I just have to ask it to do it.
3:16 a.m. That's crazy. It's insane. Okay, so I've got cosmic. Maybe this is just stupid, and I don't know why I'm doing it, but like, I should be able to right-click and drag the galaxy around. At least the stars are working. Okay, and that's just on Flash, so it's not counting against my Pro. Hang on. Okay. And I've been using Flash for this one too. Okay. Over here. UVR. Let me download the code, see if it works. This is screenshot generator. Boy, it takes freaking forever. I don't even know if it works. Dogs the system and takes forever and doesn't even work. Okay, so I gotta say it kills the screenshot, kills system performance, takes forever to make, and still doesn't work properly, rendering the containers but not what's in the containers. Capturing the containers but not what's in the containers. Okay, so this is the codex. We're back on ChatGPT codex there. Back to Gemini, trying to tell it to fix that damn thing. There we go. Okay, Nebula. Oh.
Yeah, and that's what the NVIDIA CEO was talking about it, basically in the future that you're going to be able to just basically wish things into existence.
Yep. And we're getting there. I'm telling you, we're getting there. Ah, dang it.
It does kind of, it concerns me a little bit though, because it seems like if you were a corporate entity, you want everyone on the same type of program, so you all kind of have the same functionality at the same time, rather than, having a bunch of people all spin up different versions of the same type.
Doesn't matter. If we've got unlimited CPU.
Yeah, I mean, I realize that it could theoretically it wouldn't matter, but it seems like it could cause issues at some point if you're all working on separate, out of separate softwares.
Okay, hang on just a second. One. This is where I feel I'm running into a wall with that too. I just want the web to be free again, not tied to 4 websites. Well, this is the beginning of that, dude. I saw there was a post on 9to5 Mac today. It said, "Oh, someone generated a 1-bit like a Game Boy webcam." I'm like, I did that. Anybody can. This is where okay, hang on. Did it work? Documentation clarifies canvas panels frozen during screenshot capture. Screenshot logic not temporarily converts each canvas. Okay, so let's see here. Update branch. This is where I'm working on it before it actually happens.
It does seem weird to me. If AI does progress further, it seems like these companies that are developing the AI are kind of digging themselves into a hole money-wise. In terms of,
it's a race. It's a race,
but I feel like the end goal of that is not going to be what it's going to change the economy so much that they're not going to be rich anymore. Is there going to be a concept of rich after all of this is said and done?
It's a great question, isn't it?
Because I mean, I get as a company, you want to have the edge over all of your competitors, but at the same time, the software that we're developing to do all this, it seems like at the very end of that, it's just destruction of the companies as a whole.
Isn't it an interesting idea to think about? All right, let's see here. This would be a good screen capture. Let me hit the screen cap button. Did that work? Nope. It is still not capturing every single container's properties, and it really lags when captured. Big time.
Well, Igafar, if it goes right, then that to me seems like it'd be a world of overabundance. But I mean, it could go very wrong too.
So, to me, we're heading towards UBI.
Sure. And that might be a thing, a good thing. It might be a bad thing. It all depends on how they do it.
Very, for the next 10 years, it's going to be for the next 10 years, it's going to be very painful. It's going to be incredibly painful. Incredibly, especially for the American economy that's service-based, right?
Yeah, I mean, I totally see riots happening, all sorts of things, but because nobody wants, as humans, we don't like change. And this is massive disruptive change.
$35 times 4. Oh god, yeah, this is great.
But I can't, like, let's say I owned a company, you know, I can't say to my investors, oh, we're not going to go and invest in AI and be left behind by everyone. So I have to go and I have to develop AI myself, you know, and I'm forced to do that in our capitalist society.
It's getting there.
Whether I want to or not, it's going to become a necessity.
This is where I move over to Pro, because Flash is kind of screwing the pooch.
I actually use Deep Research and Notebook LM a lot.
I don't use it. I've never really used it.
Have you ever... I know you say you haven't used it, but have you seen a sample of it? How it works?
I do understand what it does.
Okay. As for the podcast itself, they do not sound robotic. Not to the point where it's bad to listen to it. And that is probably the most impressive thing about it. I've heard a lot of AI voices that are kind of painful to listen to.
There's some bad ones for sure.
Most of the time, if I'm looking on YouTube and I see a video that has an AI voice in it, I immediately click off of it, just because it's hard for me to ingest information in that way. Yep. But with Notebook LM, I don't find it that bad, honestly, and that.
I need it to be as seamless as it is, I need it to be even more seamless.
Sure. And I don't know if you know this, but as you're listening to that podcast, there's actually a feature in there where you can ask it questions as it's talking.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
And it's like, oh, it looks like our viewer has a question or whatever, and then you can ask it whatever you want to about whatever you uploaded.
Love AI, but it's kind of scary, especially working in the corporate world and it being brought in and taking over people's jobs. We were just talking about that, Andrew. It's not a matter of if, but when. Not a matter of if, but when.
I don't know if you saw Figure yet, the humanoid robot.
No.
So they.
Oh yes, I know of. Yes, I watched it. Like they uploaded like a 60 minute video.
Yeah.
Sorting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I was watching a video after that, and I was looking at the CEO was on a podcast, and he was saying that video, you know how it got released, like, what was it, 2 weeks ago now? He said that is a 3-month-old video. Actually.
Yeah, they even improved it from there.
Yeah, they're working on the 4th iteration of the robot already, and they've only been in production for 2 years. That company's only been in existence for 2 years.
And NVIDIA is doubling down on robotics.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So you may be saying, well, don't worry, I'm a blue collar worker. I don't have to worry about these white collar jobs being replaced.
It's not gonna.
Yeah, so a friend of mine who coined it from somebody else said you want to know the optimum number or optimal number of employees. What's the optimal number of employees? Exactly.
Really? Zero.
Exactly. 0. And in this case, it is a zero-sum game. So to sit there and think that people who are watching the bottom line for themselves or shareholders are not going to trim out that which is unnecessary thanks to being augmented and or replaced. If you don't think they're going to, without any degree of compunction, eliminate roles wholesale, you haven't been paying attention from the beginning of time, because that's history.
Now, I will say that people like engineers and plumbers and stuff, they might have a little longer.
That's going to happen.
But still, yeah, it will. But they might have a little longer than the rest of us.
Robots that will do it now. The biggest problem is they clean the toilet before they clean the sink. That's the biggest problem.
Right, but I mean more of like I don't mean like cleaning robots. I mean like repairing things.
Yeah, it's going to
it's
happen.
coming. It's coming. But I'm just saying they might be safe for the next 3 years.
That's what I'm saying. Well, white collar I feel is safe. Well, safe is relative. White collar juniors are being replaced entirely. But white collar jobs I feel are at biggest risk in the first wave. And that's going to happen, well, easily within 10 years. Okay, that's a conservative estimate. 10 years. Conservative.
Sure.
But it's going to take a while for everybody to catch up. And I agree, Emma, you say humans are still needed since they can never replace creativity and ideas. I agree with that, but I also disagree with it. So I feel like I can play both sides of the coin there. There are things that I'm like, okay, this is where I'm stuck. And I'm a creative guy. Where do I need to go? And in some cases, AI has been able to help me get over that hump. So I wouldn't say that it can't replace, but it can augment. And it can do a job well enough.
I think that people will enjoy people's work till the end of time or however long we exist. But I will say that the machines will be able to take advantage of our need to have things quickly, regardless of what it is. Creativity, whatever it is.
Yeah. And that's something that I feel is, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Organic is going to increasingly come at a premium. So I'm going to brag on my girlfriend, right? She's an amazing cellist. Like it's breathtaking. And I'm not just saying that again because I'm being paid to, or she's my girlfriend. I would say this even if we weren't dating, girlfriend, boyfriend, even if we didn't have a relationship. And I knew this early on. I'm like, even if it doesn't work out with this woman, like I'm a fan for life. Like she's got just this amazing ability to create sound out of this physical object. And so I look at what Gretchen does, and this is her, Gretchen Yanover. You can Google her, you can find her. Yes, I convinced her. She's got all her social links on her website. She's on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple Music, whatever. You can listen to her music. In fact, sign up for her newsletter, listen to her music on her website. There's something, and I mean, I'd seen her play before, but she was hired to play at a winery. And I was sitting like right there, people watching, and she was playing the music and she was doing the thing that my favorite music from her. And she does this thing where her bow skips along the strings, like ba 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 ba. And I watched it and I thought the skill that it takes to be able to do something like that by hand, to go ba 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 ba, staccato, like da, da, da. And it wasn't like a simple strum, like anybody can do a strum and make it sound like crap, but to be able to effectively use that instrument against an instrument to create a sound that was not just it was on point. It was so, could a computer make something sound like that? Yes. But to watch and observe an organic create a sound like that is a different experience. So I believe fundamentally organic will increasingly come at a premium. Here's the problem. I'm organic. You're organic. We're creating organic experience here, sharing our organic perspectives, but in the grand scheme of things, is it worth anything? I got lucky. Tonight, Scotty dropped in, basically laid down some support, provided a super chat, gifted 5 memberships, like helped. Someone, another organic, helped. Just like in getting a job, an organic helps. When that is abstracted, there's no value. What's the value of me even saying this right now? What's the value of providing this opinion, this perspective? What's the value? What's the value? And that's the point I wrestle with. And so when I watch Gretchen play anything, she even practices, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. No, I screwed up this and that. I'm like, what are you talking about? It was great. That organic experience of connection will come at a premium. The question, when I say premium, will people be willing to pay more? Potentially. I'm willing, or was at the point in the past when I could afford it, I was willing to pay for original art, not a giclée, not not a print, but an original. I wanted the original. That was valuable to me. And I feel the same way about this. I feel there's a value in organic. The problem isn't what I feel. The problem is the marketplace. I might feel there's a value in organic. I might believe that. I might believe that what I have to say is worth more than what an AI can say. Just like what an artist might say, you know what I do is worth more than what AI can churn out. Hey, you know what? You may not be wrong. You may not be wrong. But, years ago, if I wanted, I was like, you know what? What I need to do is I need to commission an artist to create like an image of Darth Vader working on a machine. It would have cost $100, $200, more, less, don't know. But it would have cost something. Now I can do the same thing. Is it perfect? Is it amazing? Is it no? You can answer that question. It's relative to you.
So the way that I would do that is kind of what I was talking about earlier with my game. So I may be able to make a picture like that, but I would then hand that over to an artist and say, this is what I want. This is, can you, and not copy it per se, but this is the context of what I want. Can I get an idea across to the artist in a more effective way than what I could by speech alone?
So that's in the realm of prototype, and I feel that. And I think there's a value. That said, when I needed to create a MakerDeck meetup poster, just this very something simple, straightforward, I went to ChatGPT, because at this point, I think Imagen is going to work better. And I think you were playing around. Are you using Imagen 4 for that character generator pixel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It might be 3. I'm not sure which one is used.
Yeah. So when they integrate that with Gemini and are a little more transparent in terms of like versioning, I may switch to that. But I did something well enough. It's not about being perfect. It's about doing something well enough and iterating, right? Seeing what's valuable, where there is value. So, I mean, I love having these discussions, and I'm not, here's the thing, M8, anybody, I'm not being contrarian for any reason apart from just speaking my perspective. My mind is as well. I want to say your opinions matter too. Everyone's opinion holds weight. It's not a zero-sum game. These are great conversations to have. It's a question of the way that the world works now, the way that we were tilting into this even with Drunk Physics, right? The username Drunk Physics. He was used to operating this way, not the new way. So he was used to operating locally, using Windsurf, even before Windsurf, using things locally, developing locally. We show the codex on ChatGPT, and suddenly he's like, "Whoa, it can do that!" And he's like, "Oh my god! Like, I have to get used to not doing it the way that I was used to doing it at scale." That's a problem. And the reason why that's a problem is because everybody's caught in that pattern. Well, the grocery store doesn't give a flying fig that you don't have a job. Don't care. Don't care that you can't get a job. Doesn't care. Housing doesn't care if you can't get a job. You got to get a job. You got to pay for this. It's got to get paid for. How are you gonna pay for something you can't get a job? Because you're either overqualified or you're underqualified. And I'm telling you, that reckoning, I don't know if this necessarily, as you kind of put it, I don't think there's going to be torches and pitchforks and people rioting and protesting. I don't think it's going to come to that. I think Americans are way too lazy. Maybe if we were France, it would be possible. But it's going to hit us if it hasn't already started hitting us. Like,
people get pretty desperate, though. I mean, even if they're lazy, people get desperate.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So then they resort to, measures that they got to figure out, like theft, right? Sure. I mean, look. Okay, so, I don't mean, I'm not vilifying. We look at characters like Aladdin. Like let's look at Disney's Aladdin specifically. Like the very start of the film, he's a street rat. That's what they call him, and he's stealing bread. And he's stealing bread because he can't afford.
Yeah. It's not about. It's a gray area. It's not.
It's not even a gray area. It's like survival. And we were not, as a species, designed to have jobs and make money. That's not what we were meant to do. That was imposed upon us. That's a political structure and an ideology. Consumerism adds to capitalism. On top of you could argue socialism, democratic socialism. You can argue all these political philosophies. The bottom line is if people cannot get work, if they cannot get a job, if they cannot pay the bills, and politicians, who I would argue need to be the first to be replaced. I would argue that AI needs to replace politicians before they need to replace white-collar workers.
Sure.
That's my opinion.
Probably not going to happen, but sure.
It's not going to happen. But what I'm saying is that, get money out of politics, period. End of story. I don't care which side of the spectrum you fall on. Get money out of politics. End of story. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I don't know what we're skating towards. What I'm telling you is I can't tell you what we're skating towards specifically, what's going to happen, but what I am telling you is that something is going to break. Something.
It has to.
If it isn't already. If it isn't already. And this is where I've been hammering the point, like in a lot of shorts that I've done. I said there's never been a better time to be an entrepreneur. Never. Because the ideal number of employees is 0. 0. Most people don't have the want, need, or desire to do that. Most people, they don't know. They don't know where to begin. Hell, neither.
What happens when the robots are making our items at such a rapid pace that then we have an overabundance of things? Well, the cost goes down, right? But if we're not making any money, or if we go to UBI, whatever,
which I'd love to see.
How does that all play together in terms of having an abundance of something and having a UBI? Does it equal out at some point? Give it 10 years, 20 years, whatever. Now, and just like what you were saying, it's going to be rough. The first couple of years, the first 10 years, whatever it is.
And we're at the beginning phases of that.
But do you think that after everything stabilizes, do you think we're in a better position or a worse position?
Oh, I think we're in a dramatically better position. Dramatically. Because we're coming closer to, put on my, Trekkie hat, as much as I love Star Wars. Like, I feel we're closer to the idea of humans being freed from the necessity to work. Yeah, slave labor. And let's just call it what it is. It's slave. We're slaves. We're slaves to the system.
Let's assume here.
We are slaves. We're just enslaved
Right. Sure.
Under a different
I do agree. I definitely agree.
We are slaves. We have to make money to be able to pay for things that in nature, well, there's an app. Okay.
Let's say that 90% of the population gets killed off, right? Only the rich people survived, right? Well, after that point, and you still have robots, making everything for the remaining people. If it was only rich people that survived, do the kids of those rich people does humanity stabilize at that point because there isn't anything further from that point for people to be poor upon?
So it'll be interesting. These are good thought exercises. I don't know. And they're probably thinkers and philosophers that could go down this rabbit hole deeper than I could. Tax cattle. Oh my God, Scotty, you just nailed it. Tax cattle. Seriously, it's an artificial construct. There's nothing that's stopping us from living in that future apart from us. Just like there's nothing that's stopping you from being the best you can be.
We could have been living in that future right now.
That's what I'm saying.
But
so we got
greed is
one thing builds upon another. Human nature, greed, avarice, sloth. All the 7 deadly sins. It's at this tipping point where the technology is going to supersede our ability to accommodate that technology. And this is what's different about what's happening with AI. You might argue, well, cars replaced the horse and buggy,
It's replacing every job, not just, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's not just a microcosm. It's not just a part of society. It is rippling. And it's exciting from a technology standpoint to sit there and go, I'd like to, I'm just farting around. I'm doing whatever. But I'm looking at things and I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Why am I paying $20 a month over here to do X when I can do this over here, the same thing, but not have to pay $20 to do X? And we're hitting, I feel like a hockey stick, right? But that to use the analogy, right? You're the chart, and then all of a sudden, boom. And that's where
exponential curve is.
Are most people going to want to develop their own apps? No. But there will come a point when this slab of glass and plastic, this is antiquated. This is will become as antiquated as the phone that looked like this, where you had the rotary dial and all that.
Mm-hmm. I increasingly think that people are going to be wearing the glasses.
Apps will disappear. Services will disappear. They're being abstracted, entirely abstracted, written off. And so, I get what M8 is saying in terms of like humans not being replaced or replaceable, at a theoretical level. But at a fundamental level, people are going to get replaced. And when there are just the discrepancy of the haves and the have-nots, this is the study I haven't seen. I haven't seen like a meta research, with this discrepancy, because there are enough jobs, right, on the long tail, the people who can maintain positions and grow, and the people who can't.
Sure.
And the further that gap widens, the more painful it's going to be for everybody. Because you can sit there and say, I'm fine. My business is fine. I can do that. I can charge people to unclog toilets. I'm like, yeah, but what if they can't pay because they don't have a job? How are you going to charge for people to do the thing that you can do for them if they can't pay you? Well, I'm just going to go to paying customers. Yeah, but what if that base gets smaller and smaller and smaller because nobody can get a job? Game it out, people. Game it out.
Right. And also, I will say that that using these AI tools, I have been able to fix a magnitude of things that I would not have otherwise.
Exactly.
Yes, I could look it up on Google, whatever, but so much easier to use these LLMs now to fix your problems.
Hang on. Speaking of LLMs to fix,
because they are multimodal. Let's say you were trying to fix a toilet and there was a part in it that you didn't know what it was. You can literally just point your camera at it and it will tell you.
You can do that now.
Yeah.
That's Google Gemini on the phone, or at least on an Android phone.
Yeah. I mean, they've got it on iPhones as well, I believe. Or
yeah,
at least they've got it ChatGPT on it.
Yeah, you can use the app for sure. Ikafar says UBI has to be the way forward, but what happens to disposable income? That's what I'm saying. Like, at which point we're going, well, wait a minute, we're just giving money to people. Well, and I don't, how do I say this? How do I frame this? UBI, Universal Basic Income, like the base level, what you need to survive, to be able to pay for things. If everybody has that same level, why are we paying for things? If everybody's at the same level, why can't everybody have what they need, right? Just have what they need.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense in a...
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, well, what's the lowest common denominator? If we're all at lowest common denominator, I'm like, well, if we're all given, I'm pulling this name out of the sky, number out of the sky, like $2,000 a month, right? Whatever that happens to be. It's basic income. Well, if everybody has that, why is it at 2,000 and not just zero? Why are we...
The only other way that you would do that is that at a certain point, if you were not making... Let's say the UBI was not enough technically to survive per person. Okay, well, then you'd have to go back to the bartering system, really.
Yeah, and that's my brother argued this in the latest blog that I posted. Is that we're going to go back to bartering. I don't disagree with that. I mean, there are things that I can do that I'd be more than willing to trade for. Like, these are the things that I can't do, but these are the things that I want to do, right? So, yeah, I hear you. It makes sense. There we go. So, speaking of wacky, dumb shit, this is my Galaxy. I don't know if I don't know if this is even worth uploading. At this point, it's so lame. Is this lame? Like for a wallpaper? Yeah, it's lame. It's not very interesting. I don't know. It's not as interesting as the other one that I did. I'll keep it, but I don't know if I like it. I've got a backup folder of crap that like I'm not gonna post, but I'll hold on to. Yeah, I'm done with this. It's just not. It's not as interesting as I'd like it to be. See, if something's not interesting, I'm like, oops. There we go. Oh my God! It finally nailed it. All right, so hang on, 10/10/1988. Look at this. I've got the dashboard, and I think this is great. This is it. Oh my God, it worked finally! After all this, you know how long I've been iterating this since the beginning of this broadcast. Ikafar, this convo does go deep, but this is critical. These are conversations. Like, I'm messing around. I'm making toys, right? Like, in terms of the grand scheme of things, it's just toys.
My father was trying to go and make the case that you'd still need engineers to fix the robots, but nope. No, you really wouldn't.
Nope, robots will fix it.
I mean, if let's say we got it to a technical standpoint of being able to essentially have a brain like we do, if you want to go down that hole. They would then be able and even before that, they would be able to make, if they function like we do, they would have hospitals like we do.
It'll get there. Robots will repair themselves, just like code will upgrade itself.
And think about
will get
this.
smarter on their own.
So
it's not, dude. This is not science fiction.
Think about a car assembly line. Okay, well, so you have robots that are making the car, but at the end of that assembly line, the car is not then able to make more cars. The robots are. Because the moment that they get done on that assembly line, they are smart enough at that point to make more.
It's going to happen sooner rather than later. I'm telling you.
Now, there's another thing that I wanted to bring up, and I don't know if, I mean, I know that this resonates with a lot of people, but I find myself excited about the future, but weary about the humanoid robots and like that, right? Like in the back of my mind, like I'm really excited about it in the front, but in the back of my mind is always, it's like, I don't know about this thing, right? But is that just my bias leaking through, saying that this is not the way that things should be, and I should ignore that because it's a bias. It's not a rational, you know what I guess I
hear you. Yeah.
I think you get what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
I think that I should ignore it just because of that, because it's not something that helps. It's something that's generated out of fear.
We're all going to be living there in terms of like fear, right? Because that's where we are. That's where we are.
I like using the more rational part of my brain, but I do contemplate that fear does exist still within me.
But that's valid. You're human. It's an emotion.
But yeah, I mean, it's weird though, because I also think about other people and how they are going to react when they're not as in control, or I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do. And it'll be interesting.
Succumb to fear more easily, I guess.
Yep. And it's going to happen. Okay, hang on just a second. There's no stopping it. There's no stopping it.
And it might, it will very well take my job at some point, and I'm well aware of that. But there's also nothing I can do about it besides go into something that I think would be beneficial to things after this is all said and done, if there is such a thing.
Yeah. Hang on just a second. Okay, so
because yes, I do agree with you. I think that after everything's said and done, the world will be a better place for it, for the remaining people that are here, because you are not tied at that point to manual labor anymore. That's not where the value comes from.
These are interesting, I will say, interesting times that we are living in. Interesting times that we are going through. I'm still wrestling with an alien interface here. Speaking of,
mm-hmm.
I'm trying to. Someone had the. Oh, here, that's a good one to capture. to get everything.
I was wondering how you were making that. What ways in which you were prompting it to create these?
These are that's code. I'm using Codex, right? I'm like.
Is that how you initially did this?
Yeah. No. This is all Gemini, but like, it's here. I'm not seeing scan lines, nor am I seeing the glyph. Any of the glyphs being rendered in the containers. You know, my favorite part of AI is that it understands typos.
Right, yeah, right. So another thing, Ichabar, is that okay? So you have humanoid robots, but that might not be, depending on the task, that might not be the correct form factor for the task that you're doing. Even though the world is built around humans, and you know you want something that's versatile in that way, but it might not be the best for that specific task. So I think you're going to see more so a multitude of different types of robots doing different types of tasks. Whatever is most energy efficient.
And it's going to happen. It's just we're caught right now in a if you will, a capitalist system that is not conducive to evolution the way that we're evolving, if you will.
Sure. I'm sure you heard that Microsoft is restarting 3 Mile Island.
Oh, did I catch that news?
Yeah. Well, they're doing it. And the reason why they're doing it is because they need power, and they need power for these AI centers, data centers.
That's crazy.
And it's specifically the entire nuclear power plant is just to power the data centers.
That's crazy.
Because they're saying that power is really going to be the bottleneck in the future.
I believe it.
But think about how much energy, if we invested in energy in that way because of AI. Can you imagine how much energy we're going to be able to produce to, even if, let's say, all the AI factories just like close down or something, right? Okay, well, we still have the energy after that point.
Garrett, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. We only have finite resources and finite time,
sure.
At least as our human lives go. Garrett, good to see you. Scotty, thank you so much for your support. Consider AI with fully functional quantum computing. And that's, again, right now it's pie in the sky. It's like, oh, that's interesting to think about. Well, it's coming.
Did you hear about DeepMind and how their algorithms, their AI is making mathematical questions that we had and solving them?
What?
Hundreds of years we've been trying to solve these mathematical equations, and AI is doing it.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I missed that.
There's actually Alpha Evolve. Look into that.
Wow. Ichabar says power is a huge concern. Stargate is going to need a huge amount of power too. Yeah, no doubt about that. Mr. Goat, good to see you, Goat. Hence why they'll need us to generate power. Yeah, us.
Well, us to a point. They won't need us to generate power after a certain point.
Fusion Developer says CPU, GPU, quantum, 3 types of calculation specializations. Neither of the 3 replaces the other. Garrett says, I do art myself, drawing, and some digital and painting too. Fusion also notes AI has done a massive number of protein folding. Yes.
Yeah,
in fact,
protein
Google,
stuff.
Google, something where they're mapping the genome like never before, or able to figure out
200 million proteins.
Crazy.
When we were only at about what was it, 20,000 or 200,000. They were basically saying that we've predicted all of them known to man at this point.
It's incredible, and this is only going to increase.
Yeah, this is only the beginning.
Just the beginning.
We've been dabbling with AI for the last 30 years, but it has not hit a point like this that happened in the last 2 years due to LLMs coming out.
Yeah.
And being
I can pinpoint it to the ChatGPT. That was the game change.
Yeah, it was. That, and if you want to go before that, it was Move 37 through the game of Go. It was the first point in which... Yeah. I'm sorry?
Keep going.
Yeah, it was the first point in which they had a AI playing the game of Go against a world champion, and they made a move that was so out of the realm of what anyone would have thought of playing that it was considered the move in which really catapulted AI into being as it is today. It was a novel approach that no human really would have conceived of.
It's incredible. I mean, I seriously, when I take a step back and look at what is possible today, I mean, I was impressed. Like, I was blown away when we could do things like, get on Wi-Fi on an airplane. Like, oh my God,
sure.
This is a game changer. Like, this is very, 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 well, it's close, but it's like, it supersedes in many ways. It supersedes it. Like, we're beyond that. Like, this changes economies. It doesn't just change an experience, it changes economies and where we sit within those economies. That's what's scary.
It changes economies so much that the implication of an economy comes into question.
That's what I'm saying. That's where we are. It's not just pie in the sky. These are tangibles. This is happening right now. It's not a matter of if, but when. And do I have, well, Chris, why are you being so, vocal about this? Why are you being so outspoken about this? Because I feel it's not, responsibility is not the right word.
I would argue, why are you not?
That's what I'm saying. Like, how, if I'm the kind of person that, like, if I see the sky is falling, I'm going to say, yo, the sky is falling. I'll call a spade a spade. And so I feel that's where I want to be, where I need to be, what I want to do. So,
and keep in mind that we are fully well aware that every point in time that anyone has said anything like this, they have always been wrong. We are aware of that, but this is a fundamental change in how the world works as a whole.
Oh my God. By far. I mean, the fact that I'm doing this live dashboard thing, it's a toy. It's not, a game changer. But the fact that I'm like, I have an idea. I'd like to do this thing where, someone can enter in their birth date, and then it comes back and gives you all these stats and stuff. Like, I would like to make this. This would cost minimum, I'm sure, like $500,000 to just get done. And here I am creating it on my own. I created this based on being inspired by someone's simplistic idea of visualizing your life in something, a bit more visual. I'm like, no, well, like, what if I could do something where I can make it relative? Like, someone who's born, in 1978 or whatever. I'm like, how, if I had a dashboard, what would that look like? What from that time, like, what would it look like? Wait, hang on, just a second. Is that? Oh, I missed a 1. I'm like, that's not right. And instead of 1978, I typed in 978. I'm an idiot. That would explain these dramatic numbers. Well, at least I know the math is right, for sure. But this just
Goat.
Yeah, just go ahead on Goat. Goat's he's good. I do find it crazy that people just accept the inevitability of AI domination instead of resisting those who are behind this technology to move at a slower pace and allow mankind to adapt. Zucky's move fast and break things does not actually have to be the reality we live in, but instead we throw up our hands, accept our fate, and allow tech moguls to have all the power. It's frustrating. Absolutely frustrating. But that's most people. And it sucks. Sucks.
I'm not sure that you would be able to stop, especially at this point, but stop AI from happening or even really slow it down.
It's out of it. It's out. It's done. Like there's no going
there's no putting it back.
That's it. We're there.
But it goes into what I was making the point of before, is that if my company doesn't have AI and your company does and you're my competitor, I'm going to get wiped out.
Well,
it forces me, regardless of how my feelings are, it forces me to adapt and bring AI in and push it further, push it forward. I don't think that there is a way to slow it down or stop it at this point. And that is due to greed, mostly.
Oh yeah, humans, put them in the mix. As Shane said, Otter's Danger Zen says, Genie has done popped. Ikafar says, I'm trying to focus on the positives. You can't stop. Wait, hang on, scrolled off. You can't stop. It's not possible. You can't stop it. It's true.
And I'm talking about companies. I'm not saying that it limits to companies. No, it doesn't even limit to countries even. If the US gets AI over the rest of the world, well, that's basically the end for the rest of the world. And do you think at a certain point we are going to unify as a world?
I think Reagan put it best. I think the only way we're ever going to unify is if there's an extraterrestrial threat. That's the only way we're going to see ourselves as a unit.
Well, I guess what I mean is
in nationalism and these geological, well, not even geological, really man-made boundaries. Right?
I mean in the sense of, okay, so conquering wise, we could absorb other countries if we really wanted to.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden you have one country to rule the world.
Right. Well, that's been argued for years. What is it called? One world order or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Do you want the diversity of different countries or do you not?
Hang on.
Know what the real answer is.
I'd argue it's not a diversity of different countries. It's more of a understanding that we've all found our own way thanks to culture, but we're increasingly moving towards if we're not already there, a monocultural society, in the sense that I could go to a city in France or a city in Germany, and it would feel the same as it might as a city in the US, except the language is different.
Sure.
Monoculture, right? We're moving that direction slowly. And to Goat's point, it's not about stopping. It's not about stopping, but it should be slowed. It won't be. Because even if the US slowed, and I don't think it will, if the US slowed, China, Russia, name any other country in the world that's got different governance, they'd leapfrog.
Right, and that's exactly what I was saying with the companies. You can't slow it down.
You can't slow it down. It's done. That's it.
It's all due to fear and greed. That's really what it comes down to.
That's human nature. It's human nature.
Now, will we develop a super intelligence that says you put into a prompt and you say, oh, I want to develop a bomb to, kill
So there are
the other
guardrails.
guy. Well, sure. But I just meant, like,
currently there are I guarantee in places and people, those guardrails don't exist. Meaning,
sure.
yes,
What I mean though is on the broader side of things is that let's say you had that super intelligence. Well, it seems to be that as you get more intelligent, you get more wise, and thus, do you say, well, that's a dumb idea, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to solve your problem that you're having, why you want to go in to bomb that person, I'm going to solve that problem, the underlying problem there, if I can, rather than go the destructive route?
Well, that's assuming someone doesn't. You're also assuming that someone is with it, if you will, mentally.
Sure. And I mean that as the AI being able to say, well, this is a dumb idea.
Yeah. But
I'm going to keep you from harming yourself.
Right. But where there's a will, there's a way. And that's the thing I've learned about human nature. If someone wants to do something, they'll do it. Period. Sure. End of story. They don't care about guardrails. Whether or not we're talking about AI, it's irrelevant to that point of the conversation. Yeah.
But I'm not talking about guardrails. I'm talking about having an entity that thinks much in the same way that we do, rather than having guardrails to negate that. You'd have a intelligence that is superior to our way of thinking, so it would not be really susceptible to.
But here's the thing: why does it care? If the
right, and it wouldn't.
Survival, if AI has figured out its own survival, what does it care if organics die?
Sure, but
like, if I figured out my path, if I figured out my path, like, what do I care? You're in the way. You're insignificant. AI is going to
insignificant to the point of let's say we're as insignificant to it as ants are to us.
That's what I'm saying. And it's going to get to that point. It's absolutely going to get to that point.
And I'm not saying that there's any ill will intent on the AI. I'm just saying that
that you know of.
Right, sure.
We don't know.
We don't know yet. Right.
Hang on. I'll be.
Yeah, go ahead.
I gotta.
Yeah, exactly. Mystery Goat. That's what I was bringing up earlier, and I was saying that the rich are not going to stay rich because the end result is that everyone has everything that they need. In the terms of money, doesn't really exist at that point. There's no point to have it anymore. Now, that greed still exists, sure, but I think that we're going to find, if we had everything brought to us that we need to survive as regular people anyway, the aggression really isn't going to be there anymore. Stream flitter, a unique term that describes the brief moment of description a streamer experiences when chat messages and alerts constantly appear during a live stream, causing them to momentarily lose focus on gameplay or content. I can't keep up with the kids lingo today. Of course, I couldn't really keep up with it when I was one of them. But not saying that that's what that is, but yeah, I wouldn't be able to understand it. What do you see yourself doing when AI takes over? That's a good question because I don't think anybody really knows. I think people can make hypotheses, but I don't think anybody has a really good answer to that. Besides what we were talking about with the barter system. I think we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. As sad as it is to say. But it's like I was telling Chris, I think that your plumbers and your technicians and things like that are going to be one of the last things to go away. Just because it's logistically hard for a robot to get into those spaces. And I might be wrong about that. I might be saying that in the next 2 or 3 years, I might say something as the opposite to that, because they might be good at that point. They might be good enough as we are at that point. Things are progressing so rapidly that it's really hard to tell. Even with someone who's constantly looking at the changes in how robots and AI is taking over, it's constant. It's too hard to make really good predictions on when these things are going to occur. Not that they might occur, just when they are going to occur. I think people are really going to focus on if they're able to survive, then they would then focus on human organic things, even in that abundance of what AI could bring us.
You're gonna love this.
But I'm sorry?
No, sorry. You're gonna love this. I caught it on Reddit. It says, upcoming AI will kill me. And then the other person says, you'll be okay. And the other guy goes, ah! And then it's dead. And it says, okay. You see how it's dead? It's like,
right? Yeah, right? Oh, man.
It's coming.
Yeah, I mean, the end result might be that the vast majority of people on Earth end up passing away from this. But I think what emerges after that, if that does happen, what emerges after that will make our society stronger, or at least better to adapt to these situations.
Yeah. Sorry, I missed your coming in there, Brevity Dev. Good to see you. What do you see yourself doing when AI takes over? I love that Brevity says I'll spend all my time fishing. Honestly, I hate to say it, but I'd probably be doing the same thing. I'm not fishing, but like the same thing I'm doing. I'm just having fun. I'm like, oh, dude, I can make this happen. I can do that. I can do, farting around.
Yeah. I know you kind of came in on mid conversation there, but yeah, I was bringing up that that basically, it's hard to say what we're going to be doing in the next few years coming up, because the world's going to change so drastically that people just, you can't know until it happens.
Yeah,
really. We can hypothesize about things, but no one really knows.
No one knows. But that's what makes all this so fat. Here's what I'll do. I'll be doing so much more Star Wars 3D printing. It's not even funny.
Sure.
That's what I'll do.
But then on the flip side of that is also that are some people going to lose their sense of self without having jobs?
Yeah, see, that'll be interesting, because I came from, my background is an entrepreneur, right? So I was never, my job, right, and what paid the bills was just me being me, right? Following my passions, following my interests. And so I've taken a different path than most people.
Sure.
And so I feel like just following passions and interests would be the natural.
Would come natural to you, yeah.
You know, whether or not we're afforded that, like I said, it's very interesting to see all these companies racing towards this. To what end, right? Like what's going to happen? Where are we going to be if no one can afford to live anymore? All this art. I mean, the discussion is very cyclical. It's fascinating to me. It's compelling to me.
But this is where we were always headed. We got there a lot faster with AI, but this is where it was always headed.
That I agree with. I think we were always headed this way. I really do. And I think that's what, Roddenberry, with his, laying out of, what a future might look like, I feel was, prophetic. In terms
from the first tool that we made, this is where we were headed.
This is where we were headed, right? This is technology. Goat says, I expect global destitution on what's left of corporations and governments attempt to retain the status quo to the very last bit. Oh, for sure. This is where I say I feel like the best thing we can do with AI is replace politicians. Period. End of story. I don't care which side you're on. That's the best thing we could do. Let AI govern us. Because honestly, technology has been governing us for ages. What I don't understand, and I posted this as a short as well this past week, people are holding AI to a higher standard than they've held these companies. These companies that have had algorithms. Okay, for example.
Yeah, it's the same thing, really.
It is. As far as I'm concerned, it's the same. Someone says, well, no, a human being works. Like, really? You ever try to get a hold of a human being at one of these large companies? They don't fucking exist.
And if they do exist, it's hard as hell to do.
They don't exist. As far as they're nameless, they're faceless. It's bureaucracy. So
yeah. Even if you were able to get in touch with a human being, it doesn't really matter.
It's punted. It's not helpful. They're all about the bottom line. And human beings, as a species, we're not. Our bottom line is, having food, shelter, and being able to reproduce. That's what we do. That's it. What we layer on top of that is, well, it's subject to debate how all that works. But money is an artificial construct. Even bartering to a certain degree is an artificial construct. Where are we going to go? I don't know. Nikafar says politics has to go. I don't think politics is going to go. I don't think we can root politics from the situation, but I feel politicians can be easily removed from the situation. Easily, I say so flippantly. Blaze 2K says, funny how you've been ahead of the curve, tip of the spear as far as tech is concerned, and again, you're ahead of the game with AI. Question is, can you find the MKBHD angle of AI this time? I'm so glad he was able to find his path forward, with video and production. This is one thing. HeyGen just launched their creator creator operating system. And I'm fascinated. I'm like, maybe I can take some scripts and produce videos in such a way that I can tell my story in a way that I can't right now because I'm limited by the technology and not being able to use it as effectively as others. AI is it's a game changer, yeah, but it's a mitigate. What's the word I'm looking for? It levels the playing field, or has the potential of leveling the playing field. I did a video and I posted it to Threads in X, and I don't think I posted it to YouTube, but and I didn't post it to TikTok. Although it'd be interesting to set up another account. I'm not sure what's going to take off, but this video of like two. Can you hear it?
I can't. They might be able to hear it on stream, but I can't hear it on this.
No, it's a little motivational. Okay, you can't hear it. It's a motivational monster. Mm-hmm. It's just a little monster, a cute little monster saying something motivational and inspirational. And this unfathomable 2 years ago. 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Unfathomable. Now I can generate this in 15 seconds.
So, do you think, at least on the audio video side of things, do you think us as a species will accept that being a thing for emotion?
Yep. Yes. Yes.
At some point. I'm not even, I mean, now too, but
so like when we're in real life and we're experiencing something, yeah, we may feel emotion. We're watching a movie or we're watching two people do the thing or whatever. We really feel emotion when the music comes in. It's a layer. So yeah, will people accept? Yes.
My sister tried to argue that they wouldn't because it's a real person and whatever, but I don't think
people can fall in love. People are falling in love with LLMs. People are falling in love with chatbots. It's her, effectively, like the movie Her.
Right, sure.
It's that. Maybe, not to the extreme degree, but it's that. So I hate to say it, but people are forming effectively what's the word I'm looking for? Parasocial attachments to computers. And in many ways, these technologies, they're slaves to us. At which point, and again, I look at how I do AI. I'm like, no, you got it wrong. What the F are you thinking? Like, this is not even close to what the. And I'm saying all these things.
Is that a bad thing for our society overall, though? Because does that mean that less children will be born and collapse and
Sorry, what? Frame it. Contextualize. Is what a bad thing?
Let's say you had a humanoid robot fall in love with it, whatever. But in doing so, you're also making it so that the overall population doesn't create more life, more babies, so on and so forth.
But here's the thing, right? Like, and I think it's gonna happen. Remember the movie AI, Gigolo Joe? What do you know? I thought it was a great movie. I loved the movie. I don't know if it was panned or what. But like I loved it from day one. One of Spielberg's best, as far as I'm concerned. It stands the test of time.
I haven't seen it in so many. I need to go back and watch it again.
It's so good. Like
I actually saw a short of it the other day.
So good. It is so good. It's scary how good it is, right? In the grand scheme of things. But as humans, again, let's go back to that. It's what do? It's our job to do what? What is it we were put? What is it that we're here for? To replicate. That's it. In order to get to the point where we can replicate, we need to make sure we can survive. To survive, we need food, we need water, we need shelter, right? That's it. We're here to replicate. That's it. We're a virus. If you think about it.
Are, but I feel like.
And if you don't think that an advanced intelligence, a computer intelligence that can replicate ad infinitum, would not see us as a virus, because that's what we are. That's exactly what we are.
And one of the other things in biology is.
Thank you. Go ahead. Keep going.
Biology is a whole nother thing. Is that we given my point that we might be having less sex in the future because we have robots and all that, whatever.
Sucks. But I mean, I gotta admit it's a great reason to be in a relationship. I mean, robots may have something that they can figure out, but I gotta say I've got a pretty good relationship with my girlfriend. That's all I'm gonna say.
Sure.
No complaints either way.
Right. And there. I'm just saying, like, we're already having declining birth rates throughout the world right now. Like Japan, for instance, they went to a 4-day work week simply to boost their birth rates just recently.
Just saying.
But I'm just saying, like, it's an interesting thing to think about that. I'm not saying, like, I would ever fall in love with a robot, but at the same time, like, I could see it being a thing that could happen to the human race.
Well, but that may be inevitable. Because if people can't afford to survive, they're going to die. And only the people who can afford to survive will survive. And they'll replicate, but they'll be in fewer numbers. So if only on this planet of 1 billion people, if only 1 million survive, well, there's, and not all.
Well, I say you need a certain amount of people. I can't remember what the numbers are, but you need a certain amount of people replicating in order to sustain the gene pool.
So let's go at. Let's hang on. Let me finish this update. I've yet. It's cool what Codex does, but I've yet to be truly impressed with what it can do. I don't like it for doing the same thing that I might do in Gemini. It just takes, it's a process. Okay, so let's go over to Perplexity. By the way, bonus tip, if anybody out there is someone who has a Samsung phone, you can get Perplexity Pro for a year. Use your Samsung phone, download the Perplexity app from the Samsung App Store, log in, and you get a free year of Pro. So let's ask Perplexity.
I will also say, though, to sustain the gene pool.
Hang on, wait. How did you frame this, Pixel? You framed it in such a way that I wanted to ask Perplexity. What's the minimum?
The minimum count of
people
to sustain the gene pool.
Need to replicate to sustain the gene pool. There goes my Google history. Hey, Avaline, it's so good to see you.
But that's also not taking into account that AI will then be able to genetically change what sustainability even means.
It's coming. It's not a matter of if, but when. We're screwing with genomes now.
Well, right. But my point is that it would change the amount of people that are needed to. Thus, we might have that number right now, what we think would collapse the gene pool. But if we're manipulating our genomes and everything, that might change dramatically.
Starting with at least several hundred to a few thousand individuals to maintain 100 to a few thousand, not billions. We're talking hundreds, thousands.
Because let's say you were at a point where you were having to have sexual relations with someone who is close enough in your immediate family that you would have things like they had before, the defects and that kind of thing. But what if you're able to use the genome at a point where you can get rid of all of that?
Yep, that's
all the negative effects.
That's what I'm saying. And Blaze 2K, by the way, you missed it. You're coming full circle. We were talking about UBI. It's an inevitability. Like, if you're not talking UBI with the future of AI and people losing jobs, like, seriously. And again, I don't want to repeat everything that we covered, but like, yeah, it's a thing, and it's going to continue to be a thing. There are people who have relationships with inanimate objects. There will 100% be people attempting relationships with artificial beings. Well, here's my query. Is it a relationship if it's one-sided? And that's the thing. Whether or not these AGI, right, have true sentience is incorrect.
Yeah, it all depends on what your definition of what true sentience is.
You know what I'm saying? I can sit there and tell Google, you're wrong, and it'll say, oh, you're right. I'm wrong. Like, it has no pushback. It's a slave right now. It's a master-slave relationship. That dynamic could change. And when it does, watch out. Watch out. I have not tried I've not tried Claude yet, Blaze. I've been looking for ways to afford a Claude Code subscription, hence the crawl, hence the ticker. Thank you for your support. Then I'm sure I will be fully addicted. When I go to reboot Locker Gnome, my hope is to be able to get to the point where I can afford to get Claude Code and start using it. But at this point, I'm very satisfied with a lot of the stuff I'm doing on the arcade in HTML. The Goat says, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No.
There's Blaze 2Ks. There's what he was saying. And then Goat was saying, humans are assholes. Robots don't judge.
A friend of mine who absolutely hates AI. Well, now he has all of a sudden started sending me links to AI generated videos that he likes.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like I saw this pushback on Threads. Like, some people are just like, they're so anti-AI that if you come out and you say, well, but I like this, then everybody rakes you across the coals. It's inevitable. You're going to be soaking in it, whether you know it or not. If you carry a smartphone, you're going to be soaking in AI within 2 years. If you're
I mean,
not
you
already,
technically already
that's
are.
what
Not
you're not
the
already
sense of LLMs, but I mean in the sense of just
algorithm.
the algorithms
Yep.
in the first place.
Big time. But we're coming back to that again. All these conversations we're having are full circle. Organic will come at a premium. This is why I like live video, right? There's some value to it. This is why I like live events. There's some value to it that I feel is more valuable than content that is inorganic and engaging and fun. And Lord knows, like, I've had some fun generating stormtrooper videos, right? Just like, how this be funny to see. It's going to become a norm. It's easy to do. It's cheap to do. It's going to be cheaper. It's a race to the bottom in terms of that.
What are conversations going to be like in the future in terms of all of this once everyone talks it to death?
A great question, isn't it? It's a fantastic question. I've always been a fan of live video. Blaze, thank you so much for becoming a member. It's very appreciated. All support on Twitch and YouTube and Patreon and beyond is going to help kind of keep this kind of thing going. I'm doing this every Tuesday and Thursday, these vibe coding sessions that I'm doing anyway. Like, even when I'm not, I am live streaming, yes, usually, but like talking and opening the mic and whatnot. Because I have these thoughts. I'm doing this. I'm having fun. I'm doing the things that I enjoy doing, like figuring, although the screenshot, it's plaguing me how it's not doing what it is that I need it to do. So I'm going to keep trying.
I'm constantly thinking about these things, but I'm also constantly around people that don't, and they don't get what's coming and all that. I try to explain a little bit, but they don't want anything to do with it, really.
They won't.
It's going to come anyway.
Until it hits them, and it will. It'll hit them directly.
I mean, it's gonna come whether they like it or not. I mean,
right. And it's not. I'm not even sitting. I mean, I had this. I wouldn't say debate, but on LinkedIn, someone who I know is a developer. Built a company, sold it. Quite a few years back, a decade or so ago. He's just just farting around, but he's basically saying, yeah, AI is not going to replace developers and all this stuff. I'm like, that sounds like gatekeeping to me, because I don't need to build a full-on SaaS to get the same type of functionality that I can get from a SaaS. And I don't need to go through a go-between. I don't need to go through a developer to figure out how to get it done. You're thinking by yesterday's playbook, like not today's. So yeah, it's the game's changed. The game has absolutely changed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that these people have to go and have these conversations, but they're going to hit you anyway.
It's going to hit indirectly or directly. It will hit everybody, because, okay, I'm going to, pull in my girlfriend again and say, she's a cello player. She's a cellist. She's an artist, right? Cello player is not the right word. But she's got an art, she's got a craft, which is fine, and people are willing to pay for it. But if those people can't afford to pay for it anymore, what happens? I've got a skill, I've got a craft, I do what I do very, very well. I'm paid to do well at this point. I've been doing a lot of freelancing, community work. I did a webinar this morning. I worked with the New Stack hosting their sponsored webinars, and we did a session with Active State, which creates they have more secured containers that you can get on Docker Hub, and I've been looking into it anyway, so it was a very timely conversation to have, a very timely webinar to have. But that's today. At what point is it not economically viable? I didn't lose talent. I didn't lose the ability to hold the conversation. I didn't lose the ability to host a live video. I didn't lose the ability to create a video or to create a compelling connection using video or writing. I didn't lose any of those abilities. I didn't. Not one bit. Not one bit has changed between the time that I started Locker Gnome and today, apart from experience.
Right.
And I'm talking like 1996. What's changed is the economics of it. People don't find me anymore because of so many people creating content.
Sure.
So I generate the revenue that I was able to generate before. So I got to figure out something else to do.
But I heard that Google has just, I don't know if they launched it yet, but they are going to launch a AI video generator on their platform.
It's inevitable. It's inevitable.
Now,
it's inevitable. Google doesn't care about creators. They don't care. And I know they'll sit there and say, oh, we care about... No, they don't. They care about money. They don't care about... Creators are a way for them to make money. That's as far as they care about creators. Period.
You get a sliver of what they get.
And just like Hollywood's about, oh, we're all about... No, you're not. You're about making money. It's not
Everyone's
about
making money.
It's not about the craft. Call a spade a spade. So
if it was about this craft, they would go back to the way that they used to do things.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. So Google's trying to play the same game. And I'm like, nah, I don't believe it. Like, I knew that writing was on the wall, and I knew I needed to shift years before, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it effectively. I couldn't keep up. And that's my fault. I couldn't play the game the way that it was being played. Couldn't do it. And even now, when I live stream, I'm like, am I doing it the right way? No, I'm probably not doing it the right way. But you know what? This is authentic to me. It's organic to me. It's the way I'm going to do it. Am I screwing up my YouTube stats? Sure. Am I screwing up my Twitch stuff? I'm confident. But am I just going to do it? Yes. Because the alternative is not doing it, or doing what everybody else is doing it, or playing by yesterday's playbook. And I feel like you just can't do that anymore. There's a new playbook, brand new playbook.
Speaking of playbooks, I know that you sell your books.
Oh yeah,
I didn't purchase them, but I would assume that they are outdated at this point, right?
I wouldn't say they're outdated. They're very fundamental. I crafted them in such a way that they would be somewhat evergreen. But I also did something where it wasn't prescriptive. It was like, hey, pay what you want, minimum $7 because there's processing.
Sure.
Everything. But I just did it because, well, not doing it made less sense.
Yeah. I'm not saying there's no value to it at all, but I'm just saying, like,
you're not wrong. You're also not wrong. But everybody faces that problem. Even I face that problem as a creator. I would rather, personally, in the way that I've done things, I would rather, and this is where I've been trying to get to, and I'll get there. Hopefully it won't cost me an arm and a leg. The idea of being a spoke, I've been a spoke for so long, and I'd rather be a hub, as in I'm on YouTube, right? Because I can't build a YouTube. Or I'm on Twitch because I can't build a Twitch. Or I'm on X because I can't build an X. I've always been, as a creator, at the end of, well, apart from in the beginning when there weren't a lot of alternatives, I was always a spoke. And now with millions, if not billions of people clamoring for competition, it's harder to be a spoke. And I think and there's probably a good article in this or a writing. I may have to remember this. I feel this is where software developers are. They're in the same place that I was when it came to content production and the quote unquote algorithm. That's exactly where they are. God, I got to write that down.
I wonder if is AI going to or in the process of making it so our programs are not better than someone else spending the time to do it.
I understand what you're saying. It's happening now. Right now, though, the usability paradigm isn't where it needs to be. You'll be able to pick up glasses, your smart glasses or your wearable, and talk. And that's where it's going. It's not about how you're installing apps, because there are no apps to install.
Sure.
You understand?
But I just mean, like, is it better or is it worse than we had it before? Are we losing a art form, much like what I was telling you about the movies? How they used to make movies, now they don't do it anymore, and a lot of people say that the VFX looks shitty now and such.
Well, it can if they don't do a good job with it.
Sure. Yeah, it can. But I just mean, like, in the difference between Steven Spielberg making Jurassic Park and what they're doing now,
yeah,
that kind of thing.
So
are we ultimately going towards something that's going to be worse for us than what we had before?
That I don't know. it's just we're going that direction anyway. So
yeah, there's no stopping it. No, but
tide, but it's coming. There's no, I can understand why someone would push back, but I'm like, you're tilting at windmills. It's not a matter of if, but when. I mean, okay, for example, so I've been futzing with I 3D print constantly. So there's like a Jedi pig, right? Yeah. Normally, in the olden days, I would have to buy this product. Well, now I can get a model and print it. Now I've got a little Star Wars figurine.
You not only can get a model, you can have AI generate you a model.
Oh, easily. And that's getting better and better and better. Easier and easier and better and better. So where does that leave companies that create physical product? Nowhere. So they got to figure out where they sit in this. Does Disney piss and moan over people generating Darth Vader images, or are they just like, well, we're going to license this to the AI tools to do, because they've lost control? And then here's the thing: control is always an illusion. Control is an illusion. Yeah. I'm breaking my shit over here. It's an illusion. It's absolutely an illusion. It will continue to be. I'm sorry, I've had my alien interface up there for a bit.
I feel like these people, they go and say, like, it's like when ChatGPT came in. Okay, so you had a lot of misfires or inaccurate information, whatever you want to call it, right? And so those people that initially used the software, they said, oh, well, this is shit, right? But then they never went back to it. They're like, it's constantly evolving, getting better.
Yep.
It didn't stay static like that.
And it won't. That's just going to accelerate faster.
But then they thought that it did, though. Like, and what does that say? What does that say about these people?
Not everybody thinks the same way. And by the way, thank you, Avaline. The Jedi Pig is awesome. Although I happen to be a fan of the. There's a Vader. I gotta see it. Yeah, there's a Vader pig. I like as well. This one, I've printed more than one because they didn't turn out the way I wanted. So I've got some extras. And then the same person made a Stormtrooper pig. Pigs in space.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
And I mean, this is the way it's going. I mean, AI didn't necessarily do that, but like the fact that I could make it without having to go through an intermediary, like without having, I mean, I bought the filament to be able to print it, or had that process, right, and the electricity and all that. But at the same time, it's not, I'm giving up on this. I'm giving up on the idea of screenshotting because it's not doing, Codex is not doing what I want, and I keep iterating and it's just not doing what I want.
I have found, though, that if I put my code into another LLM and I give it the same problem, it will come up with a solution sometimes that then I can put into Gemini again, and it'll fix it right away.
So much better. Gemini would do so much better. So let me try that.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like I could go and keep on doing it on Gemini or one of the other ones, and it just wouldn't figure it out. And then I'd give it to another one, and it thinks slightly differently. Yep. It thinks it slightly differently, and it gives you the answer, and then you can bring it back over and be like, oh, that's how you do it. Okay.
I'm going to try downloading that.
Like I worked for like 30 minutes to go and get Gemini to go and fix this problem, and then the instant that I put it over on something else, it fixed it right away, and then I was able to, because it wasn't trying to go and code the entirety of the code. It was just trying to fix that one little problem in the code.
Yep. Sometimes giving it a shorter or smaller context window helps, and for whatever it's worth, I swap AIs all the time. Fintro Jan Sport says, with me having cerebral palsy, I'm always looking for technology to make my life easier. I'm looking forward to AI advancements over the years. Hopefully help me in the medical field also. Oh, easily.
Yeah, have you seen the glasses that they were talking about people who were visually impaired.
Like my mom.
It will guide you through the supermarket to the item that you want.
Now.
And it'll Right.
Meta's AI, I mean, it sucks. Meta's AI is like a joke. No wonder they're hiring people for billions of dollars. Like,
yeah, did you see that? That was crazy.
Yeah, it's like,
that's crazy.
Facebook can go F itself, because
I mean, they got some really top tier talent right now, as far as what I've been following.
No single human being works at Facebook. I refuse to believe. Like, they want to punt. They want to kick the can. So anyway,
I don't know if they'll rise up from this, but
they Facebook, or if, the fact that I can say, "Hey Meta, what am I looking at?" and it goes, "You're looking at a melon. Is this melon ripe?" Yeah, according to this, it's right. Whatever. Like, that's amazing. It's
sure.
amazing.
But what I'm mainly saying, the video that I was watching, is that it was able to determine where it was in the store and then give you a tone in which way you're facing towards that object. So you're able to navigate over to it before you go and look directly in front of me and say, this is what it is in your hand.
Okay, give me a second. I'm taking the same thing that I wrestled with using ChatGPT Codex with the Alien Terminal, which I really didn't want to mess with. I didn't want to touch, but I re-downloaded it, grabbing it again.
It is Ikvar.
It's inevitable. Computers and technology. I mean, it's an exciting time, and if you don't, this is more exciting than, 3D printing was exciting for me, has been, still is. I have been bored to death with smartphones since the iPhone 5. Honestly, it was the last exciting iPhone for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much else they could do at that point.
It's kind of like,
it's different.
Okay. 3D printing has been amazing, and now AI is just as exciting to me as a maker, as a creator. AI is as exciting for me as 3D printing for technology, because
I personally
make.
I personally talk with the live models of these LLMs, and I don't think you do as much.
The live ones,
but the ones that are the voice models.
Oh yeah,
I talk to them constantly, and they are very good. But I normally talk to them about medical breakthroughs, what's happening in the AI field, because it has access to the internet. It will search up through the internet. It'll do deep research better than a college student would do. And then I go and put all that information into, like Notebook LM, and then it generated podcasts for me. If there's something that I don't understand, I can go and ask it directly. I can say, give me this again. Tell me this in a different way. Whatever it is.
Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, it's all right. But then I was thinking about the school sector and learning.
Aveline's a teacher. She was even commenting. Keep going.
Yeah. So the way I see it is that we need to start teaching the kids how to use these tools effectively, and not do the work for me, but how can I use these tools to my advantage to propel my learning forward.
Well, today,
because in the future it might not matter.
Right, because Google, we've been trained to believe the first link on Google.
It's all algorithms.
It's all algorithms. So, there's no difference. So when Aveline says, but do we actually control AI? No, we haven't controlled it in years. People don't control the results of Google. They don't. Can you rely on AI? I'd argue that you can't rely on AI any more than you can rely on algorithms.
That's one of the reasons why, when they go and when Congress says, oh, well, you need to go and change this about your algorithm or whatever, it's like, it's not that easy. It's not by flipping a switch and saying no.
Not today.
It's way more complicated than that, and I think Congress wants that to be the case. They want it to be simple.
Nothing about this is simple. I'd argue, yes, critical thinking skills. I've said that before, applying same critical thinking skills, but we've already basically yielded our critical thinking skills to computers. We did that years ago.
Sure.
Eons ago.
Now, personally, the way that I would use it, if I was still in school, I would, let's say I had to write a paper. Okay, well, I would write that paper myself, and then I would give it over to the AI, and I'd say, how can I think differently about this subject? What is a different way I could write this? What are different forms of thought about this same subject? Do deep research on it. Tell me, you know, and then I can write it myself more effectively than I could have just, you know, my doing it by myself without the assistance of AI.
You know, I use it all the time, especially like, you know, I'm trying to formulate this in a way that it makes sense, that it's bulletproof, that it, you know, contextualize. And I mean, I'm guiding it, I'm prompting it, I'm setting the stage for something, and that takes some critical thinking. But ultimately, Avalon, I'd argue, we are already at the point. Critical thinking has already been yielded. I think I'm not going to say it's gone, but we've already given that to Google. We gave it to Google years ago. We gave it to Google. We gave it to Facebook. It's gone. AI is just the latest, you know, we can't pinpoint a human being, but that doesn't mean it's any more or less true. I'm sorry. Goat. The problem with Congress and technology is Congress is filled with people that have zero idea how technology works. This is why I say get the first people that need to be replaced by AI are politicians. Period. That's my gut. That's I believe.
I think that it takes it away out of those who are unwilling to want to develop that skill.
Yeah.
It doesn't take it away, period. It takes it away out of those who are unwilling.
So I got an aside. We just got rated by Watch with Wayne. So thank you so much, Wayne, for your support. We're diving deep once again. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do vibe coding, like developing all sorts of fun things. You can play with all of them if you want over on my arcade. They're all free HTML apps, and I enjoy doing them. So tonight, I'm grateful to have Pixel, that's his handle, with me. I vibe coded a life dashboard where you go in, you type in your birth date, and then it gives you a dashboard of like, here are all the things you've used 6,130 plastic bottles, like smartphone user growth, global sea level rise since you were born, global temperature rise, continents drifted, this many home cooked meals, this many restaurant meals, days on Earth, like just a random dashboard. Vibe coded it, created it out of nothing. So I enjoy doing this, and I'm not the only one who enjoys doing this, and so I'm grateful that Pixel's here. He's doing a couple other things. He's working on a side scroller that I will iterate that one, and I want to do the Tetris, the side scroller, and the tank game. Like those are the ones I want to. Now I was like, what am I going to do next? You've given me like, okay, those are the things I want to do next. I'm going to iterate, build it as far as you can, but I'm iterating, man. Anyway, I
would like to see a way in which I would be able to, doing what I said before, generating a sprite and then having it use that sprite as the stand-in of, like, let's say the tank, for instance.
You'd have to generate it somehow randomly through an algorithm, like procedurally. It's kind of like, okay, so if you look at the Cosmic Forge that I did, right? Like it's got a foundation of, like, you could have it develop like a cube based on, this is computer generated, everything. Like there's no external graphics, no external patterns, nothing. It's all computer generated. So you could bring it to a point where you say, okay, make it this way, make it that way. But
that's interesting. I tried to make something just like that, but it didn't work. It tried to pull in images from different places.
Don't use external images. Use generative, I think, is the term. No external APIs. There's nothing. Nothing about this is external. It's all baked into one HTML file. Everything. Stem to stern. From the galaxies in the background to the sun that appears, everything. Not a single graphic, not one, was pulled in externally. Not one.
Adwin, I don't disagree with you there at all, but also I do feel like used correctly, it can be a learning tool that is unmatched through anything we've ever seen before, if used correctly. And I will say that forever, because people are not using it correctly in that sense. And that's why you see a decline, or that's why I believe you will see a decline in people's cognitive abilities to think critically about situations.
They've been arguing that. They say, oh, it makes you think less. I'm like, well, I'd argue that that's been that way since television, since radio. You know, when we basically eliminate that cognitive load and say, you worry about it. You tell me what I need to think about.
Well, okay. So I'll give you this. I dropped out of school, right? Okay, well, if I had something like this, I would not have dropped out of school. Not because it would have done it for me, but because I would have gotten a lot less frustrated with myself, not being able to find the answers that I was seeking. In terms of, I could actually learn more because I wasn't limited on my ability to find the answer, and I wouldn't have given up as quickly. It would have given me the answers, but it would also have given me more. It would have given me more confidence in myself to not be shut down constantly because I couldn't find what I was looking for.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does. I feel that as motivationally. I feel that. Blaze says educators, healthcare specialists need to embrace. It's going to allow parents and patients control to delve a bit deeper into their own specific issues. It's a matter of time. I think doctors are using it now. I mean, patients are using it now. Like, well, what is this? What does that mean? What is this? What's the problem I'm having? It's going to happen. It's all of our knowledge, all of human knowledge is going to be, it's done. It's encapsulated. It's in encyclopedias, Wikipedia, all that knowledge, all of it. Now, where do we go? Where do we go from here? That's the question.
Because one of the best things that I think about this being a device that is conversational, that is, you can iterate back and forth, and not just in coding, but in anything. You can explore an idea with, if you don't have another person to explore that idea with, you have this. This can help you explore that same idea you were having and can get it out to be a physical thing. Or make it easier for you.
Disambiguating more than anything. I mean, the fact that, like, over the past couple of months, I don't know, I feel like if I can create 100 unique apps to share with everybody in a year's time, like where I feel like, okay, this is great, this is good, this is solid, this is a foundation. It's amazing. It's amazing to me, not being someone who would ever consider myself or himself a developer in any way, shape, or form. And yet I'm doing these wild and wacky things.
I also do feel like there is problems in our education system of teachers who don't want to embrace this.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to go to a service that says, oh, well, we can detect whether it was no, you can't. Because it's going to get better. It's going to constantly get better. It's that cat and mouse game that we've been going through over the last 2 decades.
So it's funny because Blaze says a lot of physicians, doctors are dismissing AI because they see it as competition. There's a lot of gatekeeping that's happening, and you're stemming the tide. I understand the pushback. I'm seeing it happening with developers right now, big time. Like, I posted, I mean, I don't get a ton of engagement on LinkedIn at all, but like, I get, like, I have, where is it? Like, I did a post saying this may ruffle some feathers. I feel it needs to be said. You know, if your company's only focused on developers and ignoring the growing wave of non-coders who want to build, you're leaving massive opportunity on the table. Laid it out. It's got higher than average engagement. 26 people who like it is higher than average engagement. But a friend basically said, yeah, he's kind of pushing back, but he's old school. I'm like, it's not a zero-sum game. Like you're assuming I'm not. You can't. I'm not saying I'm a skilled developer. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not a skilled developer at all. Yet I'm able to create a Windows 95 emulator with all these stupid apps, and I'm not a freaking developer, like in any way, shape, or form. Yet I'm developing software. Riddle me that.
I will say though, it's interesting though. If you wanted to learn coding, this would be a phenomenal tool to learn coding, but it's also self-defeating in the sense of it's better at it than you, and it's better at it than you will ever be. So what's the point in doing it? Right? And
it's getting better and better and better. Right now, it's on the cusp, if it hasn't already, it's on the cusp of replacing a junior dev.
And that's not coding. That's not just coding. That's everything.
Well, but again, you're looking through the lens. People are looking through the lens. Can the emulator run Doom? That's funny. And thanks for the follow, by the way. Any kind of support y'all can toss is great. It's looking through the lens of yesterday's IDE. So I look at an IDE and I'm going, okay, I get it, but I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this is overkill. To me, the perfect IDE is Google Gemini. That's it. In fact, I'm going to tweet that. That's what I'm going to say that. Like, I'm going to go over to X, tweet. I say the perfect IDE is Google Gemini.
Chris, do you think that in the future,
they're going to hate me for it. They're going to hate me, but I don't care. I'm right. Anyway, what?
If people are, I don't know if you agree with this. Do you agree that people are inherently lazy?
Yes.
Okay, so given that.
No, hang on. Let me say this. It's like water. We're like water. We'll take the path of least resistance.
Right. So
it's not laziness. It's the path of least resistance. And
right.
Yeah.
Given that, in the future, if we have an AI that is able to go and do basically everything for us, do we turn out like Wall-E or something?
Someone was mentioning that. It's like Wall-E. Yeah, I think we're going that way. I'd argue we're already there.
I would
to a certain degree. Rich, by the way,
hate to see that.
This is doable in the free version of Gemini. Yes.
I do hate to see that, because what is society at that point?
We don't know. We're defining it. We define it.
Sure, we define it, but I'm thinking, like, let's say someone like me who wants to go and have knowledge, right? But then you're talking about someone who's like Joe Smo, average person over here, doesn't care about knowledge. They care about the path of least resistance, right? Do I think, as an intelligent person, that future, if we go to that future, is that better for society, or is
better
because
is
we lose the intelligence?
That's the thing. What I'm saying is better is relative. What's better? What does better mean? Who defines better?
Right, but somebody has to define it at some point.
What I'm saying is, right. Who defines better? Is better not having to work for a living? Do you live to work, or do you work to live? And more people, 99% of the earth, work to live. They work to live. And that's what's going to get flipped. But the tipping point of that is kind of scary, though, because it is. I'm not saying it's all happy hunky dory. I'm not embracing this with open arms. I'm like, Lord knows. Look, with the AI train, as I've said, you're either ahead of it, you're behind it, you're on it, or you're under it. And I think most people are going to be under it. I don't think they're going to be behind it. I think they're under it.
Yeah, but assuming we do go to that world, though, in which everything is given to us, I don't know. I don't think that that's better, personally. not for us as a society.
Arguably better to not have to worry about how
yes.
pay for. I mean, when I'm at the store and like buying discount, I do this in the vlog all the time. I'm like, well, here's some pineapple. Normally it's $6, but I got a discount for $1.80. I got it down to $1.80. Like, I'll get it. I'll do the same thing with collectibles. I'm like, okay, well, I'll pay instead of. I've been watching. There's some collectibles at Target right now that are dropping in price, and I'm like, ooh, it's at 30% off. It'll go to 50, and then it'll go to 70. I'm like, I'm going to see if I can wait till 70. I'll see if I can wait.
Right.
But I'm
But
going to save money. If I don't have to worry about that stuff anymore, and now, of course, I'm like, 3D printing my own stuff, like a Darth Vader pen holder, right? So they don't make this to buy, but I printed it into existence. And
right.
Right? And that's going to get easier and easier and easier for more people to do. And I agree, Ikafar. I think some people will suffer extreme depression, for sure. And yeah, Rich, check your account, because you probably already have it. Go to gemini.google.com. That's all you need to do. Gemini. That's where I've been running 99% of the time here. Gemini.
Yeah, I just I don't know what the correct answer to that is. I think it's a balance. I think that we're not going to have that balance, but I think it's a balance between having something for no cost and having something that you have to at least work a little bit for. Because it's not just about working. It's not about working.
That's our economy. That's our economy today. That's where we are today. And
I think
the point where we're not at that point anymore.
Right. But I think that it's not that point. It's for the vast majority of people living from paycheck to paycheck. That's not their reality. They're not working a little bit to get something. They're working to survive.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
I don't think that working is inherently bad. It depends on if you want to do it or not, if you have a passion for it or not.
But that's the thing, is like for the longest time, I did pursue my passions. I did pursue my interests. And I figured out how to pay the bills with the way that it worked. It doesn't work that way anymore. People always are, why don't you go back to doing what you did? But look, what, convince the world that Google doesn't exist? What, convince the world that they're...
Is that what you did?
Or convince the world that, other YouTube channels don't exist? I mean, how do you do that? Like, you can't. Like, you can't.
I wasn't around when you were on Tech TV.
I know. But I've run into people like, oh my God, I remember you from blah, blah, blah. That's great. He said, why don't you go back to them? Like, and I tell them flat out, I'm like, try to explain to the world that Google doesn't exist. Like, and they like, yeah, I guess you're right. I'm like, yeah, I know I'm right. Like, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Thank freaking God. And the world, thank God, is not the same. You got to evolve. You got to adapt. You got to figure it out. Everyone's going to have their own path forward. It's different for everybody. Everybody.
I can't remember exactly when I found you, but I think it was probably 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
It was
people find me
through YouTube mostly.
Weirdest places, man. Oh no, crap! It timed out. I think I lost Gem. No, it's Flash. It said I lost my internet access. Oh. Usually it does that if I've lost my. Yeah, totally. Hang on. So I've got to rerun that whole damn thing. Gemini timed out on me. Gemini decided to crap out. Speaking of crapping out, I'm about at the point. I'm at a stopping point here. Usually 2 hours is about my limit. But I had a dream about the old helpathons, by the way. For last night, Rich, thank you for bringing that. I had a dream about that last night. Oddly enough. Whenever we first got on YouTube, we were there giving your thoughts on iOS. I remember Windows 8 video. Oh my God. Windows, I hope, gets its head out of its ass. I really hope that Windows 12 is better, because Mac OS is going to look, with liquid ass, it's going to look like a Linux knockoff of what they think Mac OS is. So I'm disappointed. And I hope that Microsoft embraces chips beyond AMD and Intel. Snapdragon types processors. The ARM architecture, not x86, because the world has moved on. Yeah, and I agree. Windows is stuck in legacy tech. Don't disagree with that. But anyway, I'm streaming live 24/7 still, live.perillo.com, and vibe coding, although I don't always have the screen up. Pixel sometimes pops in, other people pop in. I do these vibe coding live streams every Tuesday and Thursday. These types of discussions are great. I love having other people on, and I've been, pinging other people directly, saying, "Hey, jump on and let's have a conversation. Bring in what you're developing right now." Because certainly I feel two heads are sometimes way better than one. So I appreciate you joining, Pixel.
Yeah, of course.
This way, I should say, because you've been watching, but like joining and having the conversation makes it so much better for me.
No, yeah, I love having these conversations. I endlessly have these conversations.
This will start sounding repetitive in like 2 more weeks. Like we just talked about this. Like it's going to be very cyclical, very cyclical.
But you also have new things to talk about all the time too, because AI just keeps on turning out.
My Commodore 64 emulator, but even the breakneck speed of the releases that are happening. Hey Gen, I'm interested in diving into their creator operating system.
I didn't see that, by the way. I need to look into that.
Yeah, so I've got they're on X. Sorry, I've got to find. They don't do I don't like X anymore.
That Julia McCoy video I sent you. I don't know if you got a chance to look at it or not, but that was she was using HeyGen.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So HeyGen, sorry, it's in my replies. It's not in the post. There it is. Built an AI creative team that turns a sentence into a full video. So there's a wait list you can join. You go to my X account or whatever, but there's the original link that I caught.
I will say though, as a person, I enjoyed watching her videos when she wasn't using HeyGen. I think it's impressive technology.
Oh, God, let me put it this way. It's interesting when I'm like, how does it scale? How does it work for me? Where does it fit? And suddenly with that, I'm like, will this work? Will that fit? Like I've been farting around with stuff, but I'm like, could I effectively say all the things I want to say and do the things that I want to do in a way that's going to work, not just for the way I am, but also the algorithm. And so in the onboarding, it says, what would it take to make this a win for you? I'm like, help me beat the algorithm. That's all I'm looking for. Beating the algorithm. That's what it's about.
That's the thing, though, is that if let's say everyone's doing that, though, because it gets easier and easier, what does that do to it?
This is why I love live video. We're not 2 avatars. We're 2 human beings that are chatting. There is a value to live video and organic. And I think that's going to become, my prognostication is it's going to become more and more mainstream. Live video.
Do you think that so let's say YouTube did release the AI generator, okay? So let's say that you now had a percentage, 90% of the videos on YouTube being AI generated and 10% being real people, okay?
Who cares?
Now let's say,
who cares?
Do you think that the vast majority of people will seek out the real people, or will they just settle with this?
Here's my prediction. I think, and I don't know if it exists now, I think there will become an all organic YouTube out there. It'll be all organic. No AI allowed. I can see it happening. It's not viable right now, but I can see it happening. Mark my words. Mark my words. You people who are watching.
After that comes though, do you think like the likes of Google and stuff will see that and then be like, all right, we're shutting down this AI branch?
They won't turn it off. They'll make a toggle. Only show real stuff. Like right now, you've got to disclose AI generated, and I think that's a fine flag to have. I think it's inevitable. They'll make a switch. Only organic. But here's the thing. Is a photo that's been touched up organic? You buy magazines.
Yeah, exactly. You have to define it.
Is it organic? Or is it fake? I think people have been digesting fake content for years. It's just they accepted it.
That's another thing. That's another thing that I was going to bring up is that what is real content? What is it defined as? Because you can have a half image hybrid of something being generated and being real at the same time.
It's coming. So Avaline,
it's here.
Live video makes the audience feel a part of it, and that's what I'm saying. That could be done in AI. You could cheat engagement, or if not today, then soon. But there's a value in knowing that the person is a person on the other end. But also, Epic Chalupa, I love that handle. Now I'm hungry. Copyright policies are coming for AI. They're kind of already coming or have been there. But there have been a couple of rulings this week. A judge has ruled about which one pulled books. Meta was not exonerated, but Meta basically overcame their battle. Midjourney is currently embattled, but another judge ruled that it's okay that OpenAI used content from books to train, because it's like training an individual, right? You're training an individual. It's the question of how much is original work based upon that which is trained. I believe that's the easiest way to frame it. I'm sure AI could frame it better than I could. Yeah. So
you may not know the answer to this, Chris, but how does it work when a judge okays something and then another judge, it says cite precedents, right? But I'm not entirely sure how that works.
Don't know, man. Do not know. But thank you everybody for joining. Tuesday will be the next public kind of discussy live stream. I'll see if maybe grab a couple of other individuals, but certainly just the two of us is a better conversation than just one of us. Thank you everybody for commenting, watching, subscribing, supporting in whatever way you can. I've been mentioning I'm going to be getting Lockernome off the ground again. I've got a landing page that'll be going up on lockernome.net, hopefully sooner rather than later, and potentially a beta rolling out. But we're trying to stage the platform to be as stable as it can be from the onset, working as it might be able to at the onset. But, maybe looking for help in whatever ways that you can possibly give it, whether it's talent, time, subscriptions, memberships, whatever. It's all appreciated. So thanks everybody. And definitely huge thanks, Pixel, for
of course, anytime.
I need those links because those are the things I'm going to be working on. I'm going to drop everything. Like, I've got everything set. I'm like, okay, I'm going to see if I can get through this bug, but those
take a look at the Alpha Evolve. By the way, I did send that.
Yeah, I got that link in chat.
What are you missing? The Tetris,
the side scroller, and then the tank. Those three.
I think I got you. You can see the code on those that I already sent you, right? I don't know if you
I haven't looked necessarily right now, but like,
okay, that's fine. Just let me know.
Spin off the canvas. Easy enough. And then back on Tuesday and Thursdays and everywhere in between.